Check the Facebooks.
Yeah.
Check your Facebooks. There we are.
There we go.
It says we're live.
Uh-huh.
But how can you trust it?
Yeah, I know, right?
You never can. You never can.
Yeah, I know. Every time I do a live stream, I'm always like, the first 5 minutes is me just checking everything, even after I go live.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I need to make my thing public. So. Okay.
Oh, welcome everybody to the Indie Breakfast Buzz. It is I, the greatest. Please be my fan. Be a fan of me. It hurts my ego when you're not a fan of me.
Varian needs all the friends he can get.
I need friends. I lost 2 Twitter followers last night.
Oh,
I don't even know who they are.
Oh no!
Where are you?
Tragedy.
Yeah. Okey smokes. Suddenly you're blocked by everyone. Who knew?
You're if anything, you're blocked by all the right people.
Yeah.
So, remember yesterday's question. You have to curate. You have to curate your internet experience.
Remember, I posted recently on my Facebook. OJ Simpson has blocked me on Twitter.
I'm blocked by Roseanne Barr.
Really?
Yeah. But I actually got into a fight with her. So, but it was a fight between. This was like very early on in my Twitter experience. It was a fight between me, Roseanne Barr, and Patton Oswalt over the correct usage of the C word. And yes, it was as stupid as it sounds.
Makes you think there might actually be a correct usage for this.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
here in the States, that is.
Really, I mean, it was just
over in England. It's got a whole different.
Exactly, and it's like I just remember, like like that little cartoon where it's like the guy is looking at the screen and then he just like closes it slowly.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I doing?
And Roseanne was like, enough of you, Daphne.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay, because years later, she would screw up, and now she's been blocked from CBS.
Everybody.
That's on her,
everybody's blocked.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, Roseanne.
Own your shit.
That's a name you don't. That's a name you don't hear.
Not anymore.
No. Just like period. Like anybody else.
Like, Marv.
Yeah.
Love you, Marv. It says I can't wait to get home to see what you're up to this morning. Have fun, everyone. Thank you. Fake waves. Hello. And every time I see that, because of those action lines, I keep thinking it's money. Like he's trying to pay us money.
That's Jake. It could go either way.
No, not from Jake. This is where you go. Hello from Norway. Yes. Right. Morning, all. Morning, Joe.
Good morning. Another guy who doesn't sleep.
Sub Jake, issue 7 is getting closer to being sent to colorist.
Oh my God!
Awesome people do news and people do business in our chats. Love it.
Yeah, really. I mean, no, it's like I was just mentioning before, just so everybody. I swear to God, a flatter is worth every penny. I swear. It's like it's like I'm testing out I'm not even beyond testing anymore. Now it's like here are the pages. Here's your money. Go for yours. Because the amount of time that's going to save me by not having to do that is just like
the test is over.
The test is over. I only needed one page.
Nita, done. Yeah. Nita, good morning, Nita.
Good morning, Nita.
Hope you're awake this morning. That she was able to shut down after last night's long conversation on Geekgasm.
Oh well, it got a little.
Joe, good to hear.
As a man, I was afraid of being there. I was like, I need to get out of this room.
Right. Well,
hormonal balance.
Morning, Toy Man.
Right.
Hello. I was like, the hormonal balance has shifted.
There was 2 people who were upset about you calling me a snob live last night.
Yes. Listen, everyone's got their nicknames. You could be like, why is no one a comic snob? Think about it. You could,
right?
What paper?
Because there's so many people who are comic snobs.
Jake says Roseanne Bard.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Aren't we all comic snobs?
Yeah, on a certain level, sure.
LMAO, Daphne Rants. Got a celebrity assist from Patton.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh man, I'm gonna run the intro so we can get started.
Okay, here we go.
Here you go, Randy. I got it.
You sure?
Yep.
I bet you don't. I knew you didn't have it. You're supposed to start with this.
Yeah, I needed that. That's for sure. Oh, by the way, not for nothing, Patton Oswalt did not block me.
See, Patton. I follow him on Twitter because I can see what he's getting into, and man, he can be a little firestorm there. He's gonna get himself barred. He's gonna get himself blackballed from Hollywood too.
He's MODOK, you know.
Yeah.
He's MODOK if they ever release that cartoon.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Varian Grant. I'm the founder of Indie Volt Media LLC. I've been comic 2008. I've been failing upwards ever since, and happy to be here today on the Indie Volt Breakfast Buzz. I am joined by Miss Daphne Lage. Daphne, say hello.
Hello. My name is Daphne Lage, and I am a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York, which explains everything. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and I am known for my funny animal fantasy, Tall Tales, coming to Kickstarter March 29th on Monday in this beautiful trade paperback by our new sponsor, Mixum.com.
That's right.
That's right. You know, and I'm also known for my other comic, Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, with the second issue being released in May. So keep an eye out for that. You can read both of my comics online at Tall Tales, TIILS, online.com, and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can watch my videos on how I make these comics on YouTube at Daphne Lage, Lage Art.
And of course, Mr. Zimmerman's here with us.
Yeah, I knew you were going to get to me last. I'm used to it. My name starts with a Z. There we go. I see there's already people in the chat hawking their wares.
Yeah, no, it's been busy. It's been busy.
No, I mean spammers.
Oh, well, okay, not for them though.
Spammers in the chat.
Yeah.
Anyway. Hey, everybody,
That's
I'm
how
Randy.
You made it.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it is? It doesn't. Anyway, I keep getting calls, but I don't think I've made it. Hey, everybody, I'm Randy Zimmerman. I am a longtime alternative and independent comics producer, creator, publisher, distributor. I've done everything in this direct market that you can imagine, including retailing for a good decade, and a convention organizer for another good decade, not even overlapping. But now I'm resurrecting Arrow Comics, which is a company you might have heard of from the 80s. And looking forward to kicking out a regular line of books here in the latter part of the year. And I'm currently have the Indie Volt Revolt book up on Indiegogo, available for you to buy into.
So what are we up to with that?
We haven't moved much the last couple of days because Varian keeps forgetting to talk about it.
Oh, because I was talking about it.
Or refuses to talk about it.
Oh, no, Varian.
Like he did with my introduction. He threw it to the back of the bus and he just sometimes just doesn't get to it.
Oh, but, no.
Last time I looked, we had 38 backers and we had 15 something. So I should call it up here and keep an eye on it.
38 backers.
Yeah.
This is a sequential art collection of some great short stories by the folks that you hear or see in the chat here on Indie Volt. So except for those guys who want to talk about how to buy followers.
Right. Yeah. No, they suck.
They suck. And it doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Patton said the craziest Twitter experience I ever had was ripping on a local radio person that tried to make fun of Michelle Beadle, an ESPN personality. Ended up chatting with her about WWE and stuff while we ripped on the mouth breather.
There you go. You tag team. Tag team like a proper wrestler announcer.
Glenn says, "Where's Ree's favorite comics now?"
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Varian threw the brick, and then Kyle was in fear reaction to last night's show. That was one for special. That's right.
Right. Yes.
That's what I do.
He's a troublemaker, and and we have to put up with it.
I had a shirt when I was younger. My father got me. It said, Panic, Disorder, General Chaos. My work here is done. And I gotta find it. I gotta find it now that I'm grown. Maybe I can get it made.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that would be easy. Yeah.
My work here is done.
Jake wants to point out this show is rated TVMA DLS or DSLV.
That's true.
Yep. Yeah, where the D stands for Daphne.
Yeah. Right now, yes.
What
was it? Nita says LMAO. Yeah, that one is just too generic. V.
If you're gonna give me at least have a ring of greatness to it, I think they can reflect this level of awesomeness.
Well, yes, a proper nickname. Yes,
proper nickname.
Yeah,
something that can reflect this level of awesomeness.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
I'll think of something.
Yeah.
Not Stan just hopped in to say hi.
Hello.
Got new Mythic Legends to preview or Legions to review. Go, Glenn.
Right.
Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for waving hello. Happy that you're here for as long as you're here. Congrats, everyone. Keep supporting so we can get Varian and Pops in the book too. Yes, that's right.
Right. And it's like, and while we're talking about Indie Vault, so if you didn't catch my my live stream last night, the 50th backer is going to get this piece that I'm working on. So this is now the finished inks, which I scanned in.
Ooh.
And now next is just to add color to it. And this is what you're going to be getting as the 50th backer to the Indie Vault Revolt book.
That's a nice piece.
Thank you.
That's a piece. I like that. Since you've been drawing, I'm like, she's
that's starting to worry me.
Why?
Because I think people are holding back so that they could be the 50th backer.
They are fighting. Yes.
That's worrisome, folks.
You're just gonna have to duke it out. Just get in there.
There has to be a 49th before there can be a 50th.
Yeah, exactly.
Just so you know, don't be afraid.
Yes,
you're gonna get a lot of great stuff with this. Anyway,
maybe
we should share that.
Well, though, yeah. Pat said last night's show is why I'm not a fan of Aaron. Oh, I'm hurt.
There it is.
Losing my fans.
1565 is where we're at with 38 backers. I do have to say the last two backers were David Kelly and Chris Evans.
Hello, thank you.
So Hollywood is watching.
Yes.
They are watching.
They're probably pointing and laughing. It's more like it. But anyway.
No, our stuff's awesome.
No frills, just great comics. Every 50th backer gets an extra 10 pages added to the book for everybody.
So, exactly.
Yeah, it's like that would be awesome if we could end if we can end this campaign with a telephone book at the end.
I'm worried this book is becoming essential. Like essential size book, and I'm like, Randy, can we talk about this?
Not afraid.
They're using our comic in police interrogation rooms.
Yeah, beat people with
as they should.
Yeah. Like my local police department ordered 5. I ordered 1.
At 300 backers, both Pops and Varian do a story together.
Oh. 200 backers gets a pop story. How many backers?
200 backers. The Varian story is it's not just a Varian story though. It's a Tipsy the gnome story, written by the Indie Princess and drawn by Varian, in his cartoony style, so he can kick it out in a hurry. Because it's like he doesn't want to have anything to do with this book.
He's like, wait, what is this? I didn't approve this.
Done.
Yeah.
It's you color it. Anyway. To need gray tones, you do gray tones.
Yeah, I'm bad about that. Hey, we got Denani Arts in the chat. Now, Denani, we're going to be helping Denani out with starting
there he is. Yes,
some funding for him to help get supplies.
Oh,
or I've talked about the 90 on the show already. We're hoping to get something together this week. Closing out this week, Friday. Or we could do something. Yeah, I got some people already sending me some stuff too, some supplies, because the cool thing with what the 90 does is he has these young men, and he's in Africa, and he's been teaching kids there how to draw. And as you can imagine, it gets hard to get supplies, paper, pencils there, but
especially now that there's like a giant ship blocking the Suez Canal.
yeah.
Well, backing up international commerce for like the next 10 years.
Yeah, it's
was it intentional or an accident? Somebody had a problem.
I don't know. Yeah, probably it was an accident. Yeah, the for some reason the ship turned sideways and got
that's
stuck.
great.
Yeah. Right they have an excavator trying to like dig it. It's a whole mess, but like so if your Amazon shipments are late, it's there.
It's like, no, Bob, I told you to get the port, not turn to port.
Yeah, exactly.
It's let me bring up this. Hold on, let's see if I can put this up on the screen. He also is he's also started his own donation request too. Art supplies for Cameroon children, and so there it is. He's $120 raised of a $200 goal. 8 days left, so if you want, you can pop over there now as well.
Where's that at? Where's that at?
It looks like Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yep. They got this set up for Stephen Foolhardy is Art supplies for Cameroon. This is some of the art though that he's been helping these kids to create, and you just look at them there. They're getting their anatomies together. I think he just get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that 5 heads high? So they are learning. And personally, I love to see it because I think we need more of that. I think we need so we're gonna be trying to put together something to help the 90 get those art supplies, paper, pencils over there, to help the kids out. Jake says, can't wait to crush my thorax and reading in bed.
Yeah, no, really. It's going to be like the Conan, that giant Conan book that JD has over here, that it's like...
it's not going to be that bad. Right now, it's about twice the size of Only Death Can Save Us.
There you go.
It's only about that big.
Uh-huh.
And
which is
it's a good size.
It's a good size, yeah.
It's a great size volume. So maybe we'll see how it goes.
I've heard of LA traffic rush, but not the Suez cargo rush.
Yeah, exactly.
Get in there quick, guys, from Indie Vote Radio. And you're going myself. Yeah. By the way, thank you, Indie Vote Radio listeners. Right now, 42,500 listening.
Oh,
thank you once again, Ireland in the house. Quick question for you guys.
We appreciate each and every one of you. Please tell your friends.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So this one is I don't know if we're gonna have to go inside ourselves and figure this out. But
oh no, do we have to do some deep thinking on this one?
Yes, some deep thinking, some deep
navel gazing.
Yeah. So this one is from someone wishes to remain anonymous, and they said, "Hi guys. So we all know that
start off saying it wrong.
Yeah.
It's always hi guys.
Yeah. As you know, we haven't had Comic-Cons for about a year now. My local convention promoter just reached out and asked us to again buy tables for this year's show, even though it may not happen.
Wow. Okay.
He's promised to push the tables to next year if this year's show was canceled, but he's also done that for the 2020 show. So this person will be paid up for 2 years, basically. He has indicated that he needs these funds to keep his promotional company going for the convention, as well as personal bills that need to be taken care of. Does this seem weird to anyone else? Just asking. I'm a little concerned. That's from Anonymous.
If he already has this year's money, why is he asking for more?
Because he needs
which was last year's money.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So he's asking for 2022. He's asking literally, if you paid for a table already, he's asking you to pay for a table, hopefully for 2022, if he doesn't have to postpone 2021.
Yeah.
So I don't know how everybody else is doing, but right now it's all over the news that we're on an upswing again, and everybody's going, start the panic. So,
well, I don't think we're gonna get like some of the conventions that we have. I don't think we're gonna get them this year.
I'm not trusting anything to run this year either.
I know I'm not throwing any conventions this year, and it's because of this very thing. You don't know where this virus is going to go.
Rex Gordon says he likes that money, though.
He does. Obviously, he's living off of that money.
I'm kind of a little put off with the promoter saying it's like, oh, I need this money to pay bills and to keep my business afloat, and it's like, dude, I'm paying you for a table.
Because we're not getting any,
so it's like everything else. So it's like, and it's like you said, it's like, well, if I paid for last year's table, it was supposed to be this year's. Why are you asking me again for, from more? I mean, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't trust any convention this year anyway.
Should we hit this button?
Uh-oh.
No, I made a new one. Did you? I didn't upload it. I should
uploaded it.
I put it on Geekgasm. I should put it up here because give me 1 second.
You mean this one? No, not that one. Not that one.
Corny.
No, this one here. If your convention promoter wants you to pay and you've already been credited for this year.
Oh, there
you go.
Yeah, I'm very. It's
fraud alert.
Suspicious. It's very suspicious. I mean, it's like, and for him to be outright telling you that he's using the money for other things other than the convention you're buying a table for. I mean,
like, because
that's what you do with the profit,
right?
After the show has already been.
Right, exactly. Because it's like, what is the money going to be gone if this gets postponed? It's like, is the money going to be gone by the time the convention that I technically paid for? I mean, I wouldn't sign up for any conventions this year.
I looked at a guy. I've gone around and looked at a couple different convention halls, and one of the ones that one of the big ones here back in 2008, 2009 was going for $3,000 a day per segment of the room.
Ooh.
So
that sounds expensive.
What was that at the Renaissance Center?
No, or Cobo at the Cobo Renaissance Center. Down. No, yeah.
Only a half a mile walk away.
Right. It was
a mile walk away, I should say, which is where the closest parking garage is.
Yeah, and now they got the river walk, so it's like nice and pretty now. But you can go
great for a sunny day.
Yeah, $9,000 basically for that area per day, and then they would throw in some other little rooms for you because they knew that you might need those.
But I was driving by one of our convention centers. Up here because I'm about 45 minutes north of Varian, and it's no longer in existence. It's now a camper's world.
Wow. Okay.
It used to be a 2-rink ice skating arena that they turned into a convention hall.
Oh no, not the one that sounds like the paint company.
The what?
Not the one that sounds like the paint company, right? Is that in Flint? I don't want to say the name if you don't, but.
No, this used to be it used to be the Birch Run Expo Center.
Oh man, so they
called it, and it's now Campers World.
Oh no!
So what is that? That's where people park their RVs and.
Now both arenas now have campers for display inside.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's to sell campers, not.
They must have come in and bought the entire event center and turned it into a Campers World.
There you go.
That place. I used to like the way it looked on the outside. I thought it was so cool. Now,
it's an ideal venue. It's just that if you don't have proper management, mismanagement can destroy anything.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Because it started off as an ice rink, then they changed into an expo center, and then now it's
There were a few shows there. The Fantastic Con was there for a couple of years, and we're all right, but. It was right across the street from a huge outlet mall. There were hotels all around it. It was an ideal venue.
Right. Yeah. Well, as long as they didn't make you actually set up on the ice, because we actually went to a convention that had us do that.
I did one of those too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was probably the most uncomfortable like no matter what you did, you were always cold because you literally
Yeah.
had the ice underneath you.
That's the way it started, right there.
Yeah.
That's the way the play started. NHL ice rink, you know, we can.
Oh, there you go. Uh-huh.
And then they turned it into the Bertrand Expo Center, and now it's
Campers
World.
Now you buy campers.
Yeah,
I always thought it had a really cool appearance. That was the.
There we are.
Yeah. But now, no more.
I'm still surprised now, a year into this, that I keep finding myself saying I miss conventions.
Well, the Bertrand Expo Center, from what I understand, though I never checked it myself face to face, I heard it was 20 an arena for the weekend.
20 what?
20 G's.
Really? That I mean, is there? I mean, does I guess obviously the area isn't like that to support it, you know, because it's not an arena anymore.
That particular exit on I-75 is the second most used exit in the entire interstate system.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first most used exit on that line is in Orlando for Disney.
Of course. Yeah, of course. That's funny.
20 G's. 20.
That's what I hear.
So yes. What's at that that exit?
The outlet mall is tremendous.
Oh, that'll do it.
And used to be incredibly big. Now it's about half, not really half. It's about a quarter empty.
Right.
But there's still some really great outlet stores up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, outlets are, people bug out at outlets.
It's got the last local book warehouse in the area.
Right. Oh,
it's like having I remember those mall cons we used to have. Remember those?
Yeah.
The malls, yeah. I mean, I went to them. I never set up at a convention.
I did. It's weird. It's weird, but you know what? It's like I said, it's like right now it's like,
that just got me thinking. They have a lot of empty large storefronts up there that would be and a lot of parking availability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if only there wasn't a global pandemic kind of getting in the
way. but if there has to be social distancing,
right, there'd be enough space to do it.
What a better place than a 10,000 square foot open.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You know, but really that's exactly. Because honestly, when conventions come back, I really do hope the social distancing thing is still a thing, because honestly, the idea of having 6 feet between tables, I think, is very luxurious for me.
Unfortunately, you know, it's down to 3.
Right. Yeah.
It just got knocked down.
You know, it's like do
I hear 2? Do I hear 2?
Yeah, I know. Just being able to have that space between the tables.
That would be nice. That would be nice. Yeah. We're never going to get it, but that would be nice. Indie Vote Radio wants to know. What
do they want to know?
If I had 5 of me, I'd be checking into that.
Guys, I understand the idea of connecting with your fans. As an artist, drawing on stream can be really rewarding to people. Yeah. If you have fans. I don't.
Well, yes, you know, sure. That would help.
First,
that would help.
Here's the thing. It's messed up. Wow, this week has gone by really quick, by the way.
It has, yeah.
But
suddenly it's Thursday. Yes.
But the problem is, I'm usually distracted by the comments, and drawing that might take me 2 hours to do in solace is now taking 5 and more to do when I'm streaming online. Yeah. Can you guys help out with this?
No.
Well, I mean, what's funny is that was something that I was discussing on my live stream yesterday when I was working on our beautiful Indie Volt backer reward.
Right. I feel some solid blacks are in your future.
Yeah, but that we're gonna put that in color. I was debating that on the stream yesterday too. And the thing is like, you know, and I was talking about like what I ended up liking about doing these live streams is like having that like as close to a convention experience without being at a convention, because like I'm sitting here, I'm drawing, I'm hanging out with my friends online and blah, 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 and people are coming over and they're watching, but it's like this piece, if I wasn't doing this on the live stream, it would have been done right now. I would have had it completely done.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is that because I was on the live stream and there was like this whole interactive thing going on with it. Yeah, it took me a lot longer.
Yeah,
it's taking me a lot longer to do.
You gotta look up. What saves me is that Lola is taking on herself to come on when I'm streaming. So she's in the corner, like reading comments to me.
There you go. Yeah,
that's good thinking.
Yeah. And so I'm just kind of like, my head's still down, and occasionally I'll look up. Yeah, I'll look up because I got another monitor over there, so I'll look up the monitor king, right? And maybe I'm the monitor. That's what I'm gonna become. I'm Zack Snyder's monitor.
Right, there you go. Yeah, no, I had to set up a tablet in front of me so that I can see, like, I could just glance up and see the comments. But even then, you're still stopping and, you're still doing things other than just concentrate. What's funny is that there in the live stream, there came a moment where all I was doing was inking. I just sat, looked down. I was just inking, and it got dead quiet for maybe 10 minutes or something, and people in the chat, it's so quiet. It's like, so yeah, that's a given with live streams.
Help, don't read the comments. This is where you go to interact with people as you go. Don't look at the time it's taking. You look at people interacting with you.
Honestly, I really like the interaction. I mean, it's like, look, if I just wanted to work, I wouldn't go on the live stream. I would just work. So it's like the live stream is just a completely different animal with completely different expectations. So
there are artists I know
have to go in.
And you do have to be careful that you don't become like our friend Brian K. Morris is never mind the furthermore, that where all he is reading the comments.
He gets a lot. He gets a lot of comments though.
He gets a lot of. He has a lot of fans.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's the trade-off. It's like.
Well, I like what Daphne said.
But that's what his show is, though. It's not a drawing show. It's a conversation show where he's sitting there and expounding on people talking to him. So
I like what Daphne said, though. When I'm streaming drawing, I'm not really there to really work as hard as I would be.
Yeah.
Now, there are artists that I know that will go online on a stream and not say anything. They'll say, hey, I'm not talking.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just, I figured maybe somebody might enjoy this,
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it. And look in the comments. Comic book black belt Russ is joining.
Hey, morning, Russ.
Morning.
Or you can avoid comments altogether by filming your stream first and then posting it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, I think that then for that you're just doing a video.
Yeah.
You're not really. I mean, I think the part of the whole live streaming thing is the interactivity. Is like I said, it's like kind of like a convention without being at a convention. So it's like kind of like the closest thing I can get right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you can't treat a live stream like you're just doing a regular video, and you can't treat it like, oh, I'm going to do real work on it. It's you can't do real work. When you go to a convention and you're drawing, how much real work can you do there anyway? It's the same thing.
I seen someone had a monitor set up on their desk at a show at a convention, and they were drawing. And so, because he gets so addicted to doing that. Grant Lankard said, "A Comic-Con, the ice cream sounds fun."
No, it's not.
From booth to the next.
No, it's actually pretty chilly.
Yeah, no, it's awful. Yeah,
they lay down mats, and it's not like you're walking.
And mind you, and it's like, and we went. I think it was like sometime in the middle of the summer too. Yeah. So it's but the thing is though, is that so it's like maybe 90 degrees outside, but you have to dress for 30-degree weather inside the rink. So that is not fun.
I do want to point out that Joe has posted the deep thought question of the day. Do they have great tacos there, Jake?
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Brian Ringo in the chat says, "Good morning."
Minds want to know how the tacos are. How many Spankies for those tacos?
Yeah,
has loose fist in it.
We love you, Joe. We do.
Brian Langley says, "Good morning, comic book friends." Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Brian.
Yeah, you see, we're comic book friends, not comic book snobs.
So you guys will really enjoy this one.
Okay.
You guys will really enjoy this. All right.
Uh-oh.
So.
Uh-oh. Look, and he's smiling too.
So he struggles. He struggles with both.
Yeah.
Struggle with live streaming comments.
Yeah. That's
smart thinking. Having somebody there, you can actually physically read the comments that you can talk to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So here we go. Okay. Hey guys. Okay. Yeah. I know. Hey guys.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
I know that I may be mistaken.
We need to get Mandy Summers on a loop.
Yeah. Hey guys.
For that. So that whenever somebody writes that in, click, hey guys.
I know so what's happened here is this. Okay. So this is
just read it.
I'll read it.
Obviously, just read it.
It says I know that mistakes happen, but what occurred to me after this experience is that no one ever talks about this. I'm an artist and I ink my own work. After inking a new piece that I'm getting ready to put on my campaign, I let it sit for a day.
Yeah.
Allowing the ink to dry. I use brush inking. The next morning, I came back and my page was brown. The ink had turned colors and almost expanded and baked into the sheet.
Wow.
I found out what had happened is that the light that I use somehow had a chemical reaction to the paper and the ink. Has this ever happened to anyone else?
Wow.
I've never had it happen. I did have some ink that didn't dry for 3 days once.
Right. Yeah, I've had that. You know, I've had ink that completely wrinkled the paper. You know, so it's
like hardcore watercolor. Just
wow. It's like, so maybe he had a UV light that it reacted to. Like,
you gotta be careful what light you're buying, because there are companies who put out lamps, and some of those lamps, you know, they'll be like, 90,000 lumens. And you're like, and you don't know how that's going. I mean, you're like, wow, okay, I can see, great,
right?
But if you buy some ink that might not be, Higgins, or it's some type of just, I don't know, chemical reactions happen. It could have been between the ink, the paper, the graphite.
That's true.
It almost sounds like they were using a heat lamp.
Yeah, that maybe it's like, are you near like a fish tank or a terrarium or something? Are you growing weed in your studio? It's like, it's like, no, but the thing is though, because it's like that could be like the paper, like if you're using really, really cheap paper. That could be the ink.
It could be the paper. I've seen people buying paper with hemp in it now. It could be any number of things that cause that. I'm sorry, the piece was ruined though, by the way, so he has to redraw it.
That's a shame. Yeah, I'd be pissed too. Yeah. But I mean, that's why there's no like universal thing for art supplies. It literally is all like experimentation. That's why we get like really, really protective of our favorite stuff.
Yeah.
And we get super mad when they get discontinued,
Yeah.
It usually happens within 6 months of us finding it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I talked to a guy who the Larry Higgins family company, Higgins Inc. I always
are they sponsors?
No, he's not. He's not a sponsor. Larry, get on it, man. Give me some Higgins Inc. But I talked to an artist who was, and it's funny because he was an older guy, and he was standing next to me in Hobby Lobby. And he's out this very, and I'm like, I know that grunt. That's the artist. That's the old artist grunt of displeasure.
Yes.
And he's like, fucking Higgins. They switched to those plastic bottles. It changes the consistency of the ink. It used to be a glass bottle.
Glass bottles. Yes. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
And he was an older guy, and he's like, "This is bullshit. I'm not looking at the price."
It's kind of like how Coke tastes better in glass bottles and in the cans than if they came in a plastic bottle. It's real. It's real. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The struggle is real.
Glenn says Daphne has the most infectious laugh I laugh at her laughing.
It's my evil laugh.
Yeah. Brian Lamb says, "Do you think Suburban Expo will have Comic-Con this year?" That's up to Motor City. I mean, I think, but then again, now we're seeing the numbers
are sliding back up. So they haven't made an announcement yet, I would imagine, because even they don't know if they're going to have a show this year.
Right. Yeah.
But it was looking hopeful there for a while. Now today it's not looking quite as hopeful, but you never know. That could drop through the floor tomorrow, and they're trying to get everybody vaccinated.
I have to start trolling my vaccination centers here, because they opened up the thing wider to allow more people in, and I can't find appointments for anything.
I got sent the thing a month ago saying, "Hey, we know that you have this immune disorder. Come get your shot."
Yeah.
And I'm like, who? My thing was, I was like, who shot do you have? Oh, we have the Pfizer shot. I'm like, I'm good.
No, that's the better one. It's the Moderna one that kind of makes you wonky.
Look, you know what? My thing is this: I'm looking at people who got the disease versus people who got the shot. I'm like, I don't know which sickness I want more.
No, it's a little, because it's like, when you start getting the symptoms, it's like,
before we start turning into the virus hour.
Oh yeah, you don't want to.
I would like to say that there is a lot of information out there, and folks should go out and explore those shots for themselves and decide which one is right for them.
Yes,
and go from there.
Yeah, pretty much. That's
serious condition that's really affecting the comic shows. Nobody knows. It's up in the air, just like last year. Who's going to be out? Who's not going to be out? And it's a rough situation.
Yeah.
Jake says fish tacos are tradition.
I bet they are where he's at. Yeah. But up here, it's like.
John Celeste says, "Good morning."
Morning.
Morning, John.
Daphne, Randy. Okay. Willow Silas says, "Good morning, everyone." Good morning, Willow.
Morning.
Don't try storming taco if you don't want a gash wrapped in corn.
Well,
I am not sure what you're talking about there, Jake. You might have to explain that to people outside of your country.
Jake says he got a chicken coop in the studio. The lighting helps them roost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Everyone's staring from blue line paper. I like blue line paper. I
like. Well, are you talking about the brand or making your own? Because I make my own blue line.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I buy the Strathmores from dickblick.com because we have a coupon on Evil website. Yeah. And and I just run it through my printer and I make my own blue lines that way, because the actual brand it gets expensive after a while.
Yeah. That brand gets expensive, and then Logo Comics does tremendous paper. If you looking for some paper,
right?
Look up logocomics.com. They make Dominic Mercier.
Because I was trying to remember. Was it Mirror Comics or something? He does blue line sets too on really nice paper and everything. I owe him a video. I still have to test it out, and because I have his tarot cards too that I want to get through. So
those are he sent me a pack, and I'm like, this is some really nice stuff. And our artists were weird. We're sitting there and you can see us in art stores rubbing the paper.
Yeah, but that's what we do. It's like, and then you have the dude sticking the brushes in his mouth, and it's like, could you not make us look that weird? We're weird enough. It's like, I have to see how it comes into a point.
Yeah. Granted, I wonder if they could fix it in Photoshop. It depends on how bad that paper's turned. I mean, because we've all
I thought he said the artwork was destroyed.
Yeah, he said it was.
Depending on how it is, it's like the wrinkles are really hard to scan out, and then it's like he'd probably be better off redoing the piece than sitting there noodling in Photoshop trying to get rid of all the wrinkles and stuff.
I was told by guys years ago, it was like, hey, man, don't buy those. At the time, it was microns. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of money. Don't buy microns. Dude, I ink with Sharpies. And I'm like, really? And they were, I was like, okay. And they're like, just get you. And so I to this day, I have my regular pinpoint Sharpies, those, the smaller ones. I have wedges.
Yeah.
Then I got this It's called the Sharpie Magnum.
Yeah,
the big black areas, the big like industrial one. It smells the entire room when I open it. And I was like, they use that for big black spots. And
right. Well, he's not wrong technically. I mean, because I use Sharpies too, to round out all my inking instruments, but I pretty much use everything. The only thing with Sharpies that you really got to concern yourself with, if it is a concern, is that it does eventually ruin your paper over time. Like it bleeds, the ink starts bleeding, it turns the paper brown. From what I noticed, that unless you put that artwork away, like in a dark, cool place, and you leave it there, it mitigates it. But if it's something that you store outside, out in the regular room and all that,
in the home,
in the home, it's going to be a problem. Like I guess once it starts reacting to the light, long-term light, and
and depending on your paper quality, if you have a high rag content on that paper, the first minute you touch that Sharpie to that paper, you start getting spreading. Really, really bad. And there are issues of Wonder Woman out there that I saw John Byrne doing his own inking off of Sharpies that are like that, where you can see where the first point that he laid down on the paper spreads out like an octopus.
Yeah, there's one of the first times I did that way. Looking back at the artwork now, I'm like, I could tell where I went in with Micron, but I could tell where I used Sharpie because it's the lines are starting to fatten. Those nice little crisp borders that I once had are now soft. It's like,
because that's the thing. I mean, it's like I just want to clarify that in the end, when you're doing art, there's no such thing as having the wrong supplies. You use whatever. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that turns brown and it flakes off. Yeah. Not
very many people use it anymore. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay.
Not very many people use Zipatone anymore because it is a lot more inconvenient than just running it through Photoshop or Clip Studio.
That's true. Yeah, I know a few artists who still do it. Like they literally have to import it, and they still use it by hand. And it's like, oh come on, Clip Studio paint's right there. You're killing me.
And Sharpie.
Right. Oh, but my point is that there's no wrong tool. You just have to know how it reacts in the long term so that you're just using it optimally. So you know what you're getting into.
Wow. It's Surströmming
is the most evil. It's ferment rat. Okay. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Well, I'm thinking it was lutefisk,
which is salted rackfish.
It's
Atlantic herring and char.
Yeah, it's like because I was thinking lutefisk, which is fish in lye. It's soaked in lye. It's like, what's wrong with you, Sweden people? What's wrong with you? Are you okay
they have it so sweet over there. They need something to counter all of the chocolate.
Yeah, really. It's like
I like. I used to go around and like for about a month. I had this right when we got closed up here. It was I went on YouTube a lot and I was looking at videos of other countries. And I remember taking train rides in Norway and looking around town, just walking around. I was like, this is awesome. I'm visiting places. I'm not even leaving my own,
Yeah.
Especially if you have a large screen TV.
Yeah, because that's what my mom was doing. She would just sit in her chair in front of this giant 4K thing, and then she would just be, oh, I'm on the Orient Express.
That is a habit that gets a little rough to break. So I've done that. I did that for a while. The wife would come walking in and go, where are you train riding from today?
Exactly.
That and I have it bad. I still do check in on Times Square from time to time.
Oh,
because they got a live camera. And let me tell you something, the stuff you will see at 3:00 in the morning, Times Square, like I'm watching stuff like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Why are they doing that? Who are these guys?
They're not locals. Locals avoid Times Square like the plague.
Yeah, it's like, I'm calling
the police. Even after they've cleaned it up.
Yeah, no, we don't. It's way too congested, and we're always like going around, taking the long.
I remember doing a show there in October of 2001.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was exactly the opposite. It was like Omega Man all over again, just paper blowing through and maybe 10 people in Times Square.
Wow. Okay. Oh, 2000. Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I did the math in my head. Yeah. Okay. Now I remember. Oh, that thing.
Yeah,
oh, that.
Yeah, a month after 9/11, still nobody was moving in the city.
Yeah. Very well. Yeah. No, that was pretty bad.
Yeah. Indie Vote Radio wants to know. This is weird too. There's another weird question.
Another weird question.
Probably
the same person. Wow. Tried to think up weird stuff.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. They want to challenge us.
Yeah.
Your challenges aren't welcome here.
You can't challenge us. We're already challenged. Come on.
They want to know. This from.
You're gonna need like three different pairs of glasses on your desk too.
Yeah,
another thing about those bright lights, you need to be careful. Those artists' eyes and their hands are too big.
Some of these names are weird, like ARIEL. I guess it's the Ariel. Ariel. Yeah. So it wants to know the rule about having 10,000 bad pages in you is quite frightening. Yes. I don't know how many pages I've drawn, but I still think my artwork looks like shit. When am I expected to turn the corner?
You don't.
I don't think that 10,000 rule applies. I think it's more like 2.
Well,
is it pages or hours?
Dave said it's 10,000 hours. Yeah, it's 2,000 bad pages.
Okay.
After your 2,000th page, you almost know what you're doing.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. That's why I'm still working on it. But the thing is, though, it's a trick question because it's like, oh, when do you get satisfied with your work? You don't.
No, you never do.
You don't.
But that's all part of being an artist. Just the fact that you look back on it. But you'll get to a point where you look back at something that you did 6 months ago or a year or two ago, and you go, I don't even remember doing that.
Right.
That kind of work. That's pretty good.
I mean, and that's the thing. When at the it's kind of like looking at old photographs of yourself. Like at the time the photo was taken, you're like, oh, I'm all fat and ugly. And then 10, 20 years later, you look at the photo. It's like, I was fucking hot. What was I thinking? It's kind of artwork's the same way.
Jake says, at least before light therapy took off.
Yeah.
Joe says, Jake, I'm tempted to put a piece of scratch board under a chicken to see if
what fine art
pattern wise. Fine art. There we go. Very unique approach to woodcut prints. And Empyrean Vol is in the house. Empyrean, hope you're doing well. It's 1,000 bad pages. No, it's like 2,000, and it's not. It's not like a real number.
It's not a real number. The idea is to get that consistency, because a lot of people, when they hear the 10,000 rule, what a lot of people misinterpret is that they just mean literally 10,000 hours. What it's really about is the very consistent, deliberate practice that you put into that time, because that in the end, it's like, that's the part that counts, not the actual counting. But as long as you're putting in the deliberate practice and concentrating on your practice, it's like you're going to get better over time. It's going to happen.
You'll get to a point where you figure that you know what you're doing.
It's like, don't get hung up on the numbers. Because it's like the whole 10,000 steps. It turns out that there's no basis behind that. It was from a Japanese company who chose 10,000 because the kanji for 10,000 looks like a little guy running. So don't get hung up on numbers. Don't go, I'm at page 1,999.
Right.
You're not going to all of a sudden turn into Bernie Wrightson on that next page. It's
not how that works.
The other question from Indie Vote is, and I don't know if this is an anonymous question, but they wanted to know if do you guys think that art schools have been hurt by all virtual academies starting up? I don't see any art schools doing virtual lessons. I'm pretty sure there are. I think
the Kirby school is virtual.
Kubert school. The Kubert school.
Kubert.
Kirby. Yeah.
Oh, I said the Kirby school.
Yeah.
Because I was reading Glenn's note here that said 10,000, 2,000 page theory. It's rubbish. Yeah. I bet Kirby and those guys didn't take that long to get it right.
Yeah, really. It's like don't count. Because you're only going to drive yourself crazy and hold yourself to a standard that technically doesn't exist. Yeah. So yeah, don't count. Just do the work. Just do the work.
And also back then, Glenn, they were literally inventing the art form. So
yeah.
I'm sure you go back and you look at Kirby's stuff from when he first started, and you can tell there's a huge difference between what he did and what he ended up doing in the 60s and what he ended up doing in the 70s. There's a whole different Kirby went through whole different stages on his artistic career.
Like Russ said, in all fairness, it's still bad at 10,000. Yeah, if it's still bad to 10,000, it might be time to hang up this art career.
Well, I mean, like I said, it depends. If you're just doing 10,000 pages of stick figures, you're just wasting your time.
Oh no, because Matt Fizzell does stick figures and he makes
but you know what? Really it's like it depends on what you do with it.
He knows what he's doing.
Exactly. Because I remember watching this artist on YouTube do a black book challenge, a sketchbook challenge, this really thick book, and it was painful to watch because she was more concerned about filling up the black book than actually doing meaningful working sketches in it. So it was just, she might as well have just been like scratching, her lead against the paper and calling it. I mean, and it was just that's not that's you're wasting your time. That's nothing. You're not doing anything.
Empyrean says I'm just at 375 pages. I went for 300 pages in 2020 and nearly made it. There you go.
I mean, I'm over 1,000 pages in, and I'm still like, oh, I still got a way to go.
Smart to your thumbs,
yeah.
Most art schools do not teach art.
I as somebody who went to art school, I have very conflicting ideas about the whole thing. I mean, I think that like maybe like schools like Hubert, who are very, very specific to comic book art, they're more helpful, in terms of the education that you get. But something like a general school, like the school I went to, School of Visual Arts, it's not, even though they had a cartooning department, it's still the overall college experience, which I didn't think really I'm very conflicted. Because honestly, I don't think an art education is worth going into debt for, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
If this is something that, I mean, and in the end, nobody asks you for your degrees when it comes to art.
They ask you for your capabilities.
Right. They look at your portfolio. They don't say, well, what you have a master's or something. They don't care. Are you going into teaching? That's the only place you need that.
Yep.
So if you can learn your craft outside of the college experience, I would say do that instead. If you need a BA for anything, because I know a lot of jobs, they require you to have, it's like you need a BA just to work in shitty retail. So it's like, if you just need that, just go to your local community college and get the degree that way, and then focus on your art in a separate situation, not through the actual school. Like, don't go into that kind of debt for art.
And did you see
Daphne Rant? We love them. Hashtag Daphne Rant.
Hashtag.
Russ also says art college taught me plenty about restricted substances.
Well, it depends on what you get out of it, I guess.
Did you read Imperium Vo's comment about Cuba schools giving virtual on this?
Yeah. Like, I would think that would be more useful.
You can take one class for around $220 online at Kubert online.
Right. I think that this would be more useful than going to a school like visual arts, I mean, but that's just me though. That's my experience.
Joe says, I guess with the number of pages I've done, I still feel like I'm beginning despite the number of drawn / laid out pages.
I feel you. That's exactly how I feel too. I mean, it's like,
you never stop learning.
No, you don't. You don't. And you shouldn't. I
No.
mean, beware of anybody who says that they got it. Not even Bernie Wrightson at the end thought that he had it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, really, you stop learning when you die. That's a little morbid, but that's the attitude,
So I said, I don't understand why art school is more expensive than regular college. Well,
yeah, I don't
because they can.
Either. Yeah, in the end, I think that's what it is. It's like
because they can.
Yeah.
Considering CalArts tuition costs more than going to Harvard.
Yeah, it's because, again, they can. And I think also with CalArts, I guess they think that because they have that direct into Hollywood, that it means something more. So, and it doesn't really. It doesn't. The hottest cartoons right now on TV are all done by people who never went to CalArts. So, your mileage may vary.
Yeah. And again, for that, they're not, most of the time, they're not looking for paper anyway. They're looking for capabilities.
Right, yeah.
You go in there with a test reel and show what you or your production company can do in order to get the job.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Daphne is right. A library card is better than a college degree and free.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Hiroshiko. Hirohiko.
Yeah.
Araki. What would have to hit 50 volumes of his main series to meet 10,000, and he didn't get refined until volume 85 to 90.
Yeah. I mean, that's just what it is. Everyone's going to work at their own pace too. I mean, it's like
it's a liquid number.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, look, I'm just recently gaining insight on fundamentals. All these years out, I'm not some prodigy 14-year-old on DeviantArt, so I gotta earn everything.
Empyrean says the class to take at Kubert's is called Narrative Art. It's 100% composition, layouts, corrections for comic pages. Yeah. It says it's worth noting that Narrative Art was the class Joe Kubert taught himself. Now it's obviously other teachers. Yeah. Jake says, I thought art school was networking, drugs, and stress.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Can be. Yep.
Yeah.
Ross says, get off Daphne's lawn.
No, for real.
God damn it.
It's no, really. That's why we fence everything off.
There's your education can easily be done by grabbing the Hogarth books and the Eisner sequential art books, maybe the Understanding comic books from Scott McCloud. There's enough instructional comic books out there, comic on sequential art out there for you to get a full education just off of Amazon, really.
Yeah. I mean, and also it's like, you know what? I'm a little tired of seeing so many people who kind of like spout their degrees as more important than their actual work. It's like you're okay. It's like, okay, you have a master's degree in comic book illustration, but you still suck. So what difference does it make?
Nothing beats the school of hard knocks.
Yeah, exactly. Do the work. It's the work that counts. Yeah.
Yep. And really, if you love comics, it's not really that much work.
Well, yeah, I mean, you still have to earn what you get.
Yeah. But it's just like learning any kind of tool, or people that think you have an aptitude for playing guitar or piano or that. Anybody will tell you there's practically nobody walks up to an instrument and knows how to play.
Right. Exactly.
It always takes time to learn, let alone be able to look away from how you're playing.
Yeah.
In order to even look competent, it takes a lot of practice.
Mm-hmm.
So same thing for comics and sequential art. Variant is offline as we speak.
Right. Yeah. But so I mean, did you ever go to art school?
I went for 2 years during my high school days in order to get the heck out of away from town. I did as much as I could to get away from my town and away from my parents.
Right. Okay.
And I took 2 years, junior and senior year, at what they called the Genesee Area Skill Center in commercial art. And the second year was a complete waste of time because they were moving into better facilities. And the teacher would just kind of throw a job at us and let us go and do whatever we needed to do. So it was pretty much playtime during the last year. But the first year, I learned all of the commercial art tools that nobody uses anymore, thanks to Photoshop.
Well, yeah.
So I learned how to ruby lith and amber lith and do color seps, work with zipatone and all of that, and do rub-on lettering, that kind of thing. It did come in handy later because right after high school, not quite after high school, it was a ways after high school, I ended up getting a job at a t-shirt shop and became their art department.
Oh, there you go.
For money while I was doing comics, but and that's what furthered the commercial arts side of my career. So I just never stopped doing that, and some clients I picked up along the way because I stayed there for about 10 years, and then had another company across town that offered me a better option to go over there and work a little higher money, little better pay, and that lasted about 4 years, and stopped doing that, and then eventually got into business on my own with a couple of other partners. And then the clients that I picked up from all of those locations, I ended up picking up once the business went south and started just doing the commercial work in my basement. But we were a full service apparel and sign shop there for a while, for about 4 years.
Right. Yeah. So. Yeah. Because also it's like, I spent, I did my 4-year stint at the School of Visual Arts. And to tell you the truth, I think I learned more self-publishing than actually the 4 years that I was there,
But I would have loved to have had a 6-month or a couple semester course with Eisner. That would have been
it's like
that would have been incredibly
we're talking about 6 months out of 4 years. That could have just been something. It's like I could have just bought into that myself, kind of, instead of having to go through that entire experience, which was
which is what I'm always recommending his books, and anybody that needs to learn sequential or narrative art, that's where you go,
right? Because it's like, because honestly it's like, because if there was anything that stood out in those 4 years, it was in his class that it finally clicked for me about how to tell a story, the storytelling aspect, the timing, then the fact that comic book pages have a time code. That it's like once that clicked for me, that it was there. That so every panel's a beat. Every beat moves the plot. And that's
you need to just
that was the thing.
Captured moment in time.
It's like looking at artwork, and there's a beat to it. There's like, okay, what's the pacing, what's the timing, which is something weird to think about in a static medium.
But Eisner had done it for so long and had literally he was there at the foundation of the medium or of the art form just as it was being invented, and he figured that out real early on. That's why reading and really looking at the spirit section stories that he did is an education in narrative art in itself, because he's jamming everything into a 7-page segment, and the stories are so complete, and a lot of them are so incredibly well done that you just sit back and you go, wow, how did somebody do that in a week? And he was hitting that every week, especially once he got out of the army. The classic stuff from like 42 on, even after that. Once he got out of the army from World War II, he ran for a good pace there. That it's just every story is just boom, 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 right in a row, and you just sit there and go. It would be amazing for an artist, writer, a creator to hit that once or twice a month, but he was doing it 4 times a month. And that was just an amazing time as far as I'm concerned, as far as creating comics. But 45, right after the war, was a great time for comics history too, because that's when Beck was running with Captain Marvel, and comics were literally selling in the millions. The boys were coming back from the war, and before TV was invented, everybody was reading newspapers and comics, and the comic strip was just really raging during that time. And everybody needed the entertainment, the escape from the depression, as all of the atrocities and everything was coming out about exactly how bad the war was. So great comics, great entertainment, great escape. And that's really one of their high points.
Yeah, but that was like the biggest lesson, because even to this day, I still use those lessons. Like just recently, I was talking about this little 12-page project that I was doing specifically to work on these lessons. How to tell a story in 12 pages or less, a complete story, not not a segment. How to tell a story in those 12 pages without dialogue. Because how does the story flow without dialogue that you can still understand what's going on in the artwork, and you can kind of infer the story. The work is still the pages are still gonna have dialogue in it, but I have to tell the story without it first. So that's the other experiment. And then there's this one that I always refer to. It's my little Wally Wood exercise, where it's like it's 12 pages of two people talking. How do you still make that compelling?
Yeah.
Because even though it's just two people talking, you still need to bring in the audience into your story to be interested enough to read it. So you can't have just head, talking. You can't just have the same panel over and over again. No one's going to read that. So you still it's two people talking. There's nothing else going on. How do you make that compelling? So that's another exercise that I like doing, with that, so it's like, it's a constant, it's a constant grind, of trying to, improve your skill. You're always improving your skill. It's okay to have gaps. It's okay to still have to work on your stuff. And I think a lot of artists get caught up. Oh, art assistants. Well, yeah, that would be nice. I mean,
Imperian Vold says, I wish it was more common to have art assistants. Chaikin and was Gil Kane's assistant. For example, Larry Hama was Wally Wood's assistant. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, what's really funny is how, especially, oh, hey, Sam, how, like, in Japan, it's actually common to have a whole team of assistants working on a comic. When here, it's kind of like, oh, either you do it yourself, or oh, you're not a real comic book artist, when that's not true at all.
And over in Japan, some studios, depending upon the studios, have specialists.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody sits there and draws hands. Somebody sits there and draws jeeps. Somebody does action lines. Somebody rules panels.
Rumiko Takahashi. I mean, it's like she does Ranma. And I think for a while, all she was doing was the heads. Yeah. All her assistants did everything else, and she would put in the heads. Because that's just how it rolls there. And like here, it's like it took me. I mean, it's like I'm already kind of like, I had to be kind of like forced into finally delegating a piece of my process. It's like, I'm coloring these comics, and it's like, holy crap, I really need to seriously look into getting a flatter, and I finally decided to make the plunge and get and delegate that piece of the process out. I mean, yeah, I had to pay for it, but it's like I was telling you, it's like I got that first page back as a test, and I'm like I was practically crying, knowing the amount of time I was going to save by not having to do that. So now I'm sending her all my work. I don't know why. I guess it's the whole like with the great American individualism thing that goes on here. It's like, oh, if you don't do everything yourself, it's like, no, you can't do everything yourself.
It's a level of stubbornness in that too.
Yeah, that's true too. I was the same way until it's like going, I don't have the time for this.
The old saying applies: study the masters. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. They're masters for a reason.
And it's getting harder and harder to find those reprint books out there anymore. So when you find them, definitely.
Right.
Having assistants require a properly functioning industry. Unfortunately, that's very true.
Yeah. But Russ, true. Yeah, definitely. You were talking about investing in a flatter. I definitely invested in a flatter.
Yeah, there would have to be money. Yeah. And future of some kind. Well, Empyrean, times are changing. Yeah. So hopefully they'll be changing for the better. Question: did the Marvel method kill the assistant model. No.
Oh. Well, what would be the Marvel method? The bullpen?
Well, the bullpen was around for long before Marvel's sprung up. Actually, the Marvel method would have probably helped the assistant on different levels, especially when it came to inking and probably coloring, because those jobs had to be done really, really quick.
Yeah.
So I don't think it hurt or hindered it, or helped it even as far as that goes. It's probably all of these artists work at their own pace, you know, and they grab assistants as they go along. Yeah. The comic strips especially had a long line of assistants, because you had to hit a deadline. You had to have a certain amount of output all the time. And not everybody was Hal Foster, who decided he was going to spend the week on doing this gigantic, beautiful piece of artwork.
Right. Yeah.
So there was a lot of assistants. Dave Stevens was the assistant. Dave Stevens, William Stout, Steve Root, I believe, were all assistants to Russ Manning.
Wow.
And he was doing the Tarzan comic strip and doing, I believe, a bunch of European Tarzan work, comic book work at the same time. So Seth says, I was always under the impression that comics were done by more than one person: penciler, inker, colorist, letterer, and so on. I plan to do what I can on my book, but I would rather hire someone better than me to do the flats and colors, and as well as the lettering. Well, yeah, and sometimes you have to do that in order to save yourself the time to do it. And sometimes those jobs can get a little tedious too. And it's always better to pass it off to a pair of fresh eyes. Sometimes it actually helps the work. The Marvel method is about story creation. The artist actually creates more of the story, while the editor would kind of fill in the speech bubbles at the end. Yeah. What? What was that? I didn't catch it either time. So. Well, a lot of that, the stuff that, you know, nobody seems to take into consideration is Stan Lee, back during the Marvel method, was running the office from 9 to 5. And then from 5 until who knows how long, he was sitting in front of a group of a stack of incredible art, perhaps multiple issues a night, and writing on notepads, panel 1, Thor says this, you know, panel 2, Sif says this, and turning that over to the letterer. So that was the Marvel method was really created because there was no time in Stan's day to do a full script. So they winged it. He'd get on a phone. What do you want to draw this month, Jack? That sounds good. Go ahead and do it. And a lot of times he'd get artwork into the office and have to call him back up and go, what is this? Is this the story? What happens here? And then he's making notes also. So that's where you get all of the great imaginative, crazy characters. Silver Surfer is the prime example of that.
It was almost like Mad Libs, kind of. You know, you just pass the artwork back and forth. It's like, well, what do you know? And then they write in, and then they pass it back. Someone else.
Yeah. That's why it was easier to run that assembly line. Once it was out of the penciler's hands, it was paste and on paper. Stan would then look at it and add script, send it to the letterer, and then after it was lettered, it would go to the inker. So the inker wouldn't have to ink underneath where the lettering was. So it just saved everybody's time.
Also not for nothing though. It's like I think also part of the whole like, oh, one person does everything is actually more of the independent model rather than this corporate model, because it's like we literally couldn't afford to outsource a lot of our stuff. So we had to learn to do everything ourselves. We had to learn the graphic design. We had to learn the lettering. We had to learn, you know, the inking, the putting the books together, printing. We had to learn printing, for goodness sake, you know? So, you know, but nowadays it's like, it's a little easier to outsource. So I highly recommend it if you can. Although yes, stubbornness has a lot to do with it too.
if you go back and look at the old EC books, the Tales from the Crypt, Haunt of Fear and all that, the lettering on that is incredibly mechanical, because they used to have templates of letters that all you did
Yeah.
was fill in, and it would all be ruled out. They would they would send the empty board with the script to the letterer. The letterer would be first going through and laying in the letters and the panel borders.
Yeah.
And then they would send that to the artist.
Yeah, I used to have
would go through and fill it in.
I used to have that template. It's an architectural template that's like we would just use everything.
And I haven't seen one in years.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. Yeah.
I got the last picture from Indie Boat Radio here, guys.
There you go.
I'm sorry. I had to wait for a while.
Welcome back, sir.
Yeah. There was child disciplining going on.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
So. The sound of screams are never good for 30
Yes, exactly.
For Indie Boat Radio, this is a question from Mason. Okay, Mason again. Mason, I guess Mason. He wrote in was it last night? Was it last night? My days are running together. I'm sorry. Yeah. He says, guys, I want to know, what do you think about publishing companies that push an agenda? For example, I deal with a gentleman who says that he is that Stan Lee is his mentor. He's never met Stan Lee. He's never even taken a picture with Stan. However, he feels that Stan Lee is his mentor. How do you guys feel about that? Companies that push agendas.
Well, I don't understand the connection between the two, but maybe you can clarify.
Well, for me, like I know someone who says, Stan Lee was their mentor, and they, spent maybe 3 minutes with the guy during a photo op. And it's like, that's not a mentor. Listen, a mentor takes you under their wing.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's a very specific definition.
Yeah. No, you are Stan Lee. The word that person is looking for is role model.
Yeah,
not so much. Right. A role model. He's not your mentor.
Right. I mean, I took I think 2 semesters with Will Eisner, and I wouldn't say he was a mentor. He was my teacher.
Right.
Right. I mean, it was me and 30 other people in the class.
Right. And even then, then I could understand someone saying, I understand you saying Will Eisner my mentor at that point, because 2 semesters worth of classes is nothing to sneeze at.
Right. So, yeah. Especially considering what I did end up learning from it. So,
Right.
But really having him as a mentor would mean that you were in the shop all
exactly.
day. You were the one that went after the sandwiches. You were the one that sharpened the pencils. You were the one that watched him over his shoulder to work, to make sure
direct
to learn his craft. He was your teacher because he taught you what he knew. Off of in a classroom setting, but you weren't there in the trenches,
right?
That would be a mentor. Other than that, it's all people that you're influenced by or your inspiration. I'm very inspired by a lot of these guys who I've never met, never will, because they're long past. I would have loved to have at least gone to dinner with Jack Cole, or I would have loved to have been his mentor for a while. Especially when he was working on Plastic Man, just to see what he was doing. What?
Mentee.
Mentee. Yeah.
Ben his mentee. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was
or had him as my mentor. Yeah. But that never will happen. But on the other hand, I still look at the Plastic Man stuff today and marvel at the composition and learn.
Right. Yeah.
There is as far as companies pushing agendas. I mean, every company has their own
they have
their own message. Whether it's Bad Girl Comics or Shockmeister Comics. It's just
I don't think that's necessarily true. Because you get these people that go, well, comics have always been propaganda. They've always been political. And that's not true. That's not true at all. There have been political comics out there, absolutely. But the majority of the time, up until recently, I would say the reason for comics being out there was to generate capital. And that sometimes you're in the art, there was a message. Sometimes that message was political, but the comics weren't political per se. They were always there to generate art. And the ones that were political, and you can go back and check this with the sales figures, there was a beautiful time there that we all look up to, that Neil Adams and Giordano and Denny O'Neil did Green Lantern. And those are some really socially relevant issues that he did. They didn't sell worth the shit.
Right.
And that book was not around for more than a year and a half under that with those messages. They were done. And they got done, and in fact, both characters had a long time coming back from that because the sales were so disastrous. And they didn't just keep sticking it out there because they had a message to promote. Nowadays, I'm sorry, I'm going to
go ahead.
About to get on a soapbox anyway. Nowadays, these corporations out there do not care what is printed as long as the visual IP is there. That S on that guy's chest is a lot more important than who has it. The little bat in the circle is or the bat itself is more important than who wears it. They don't care. So they've got people up there now that are pushing their own political agenda, thinking that they're hot S when they have no education or practical experience as to how to make a saleable comic. And that's wrong. That's a problem, and that's something that will come back to haunt them eventually.
Yeah, because what was funny was that we went to, this was of course pre-pandemic, there was like this lecture series that me and JD were kind of hopping on, and they had it was comic book based. They would have like artists and writers and whatnot, and this particular one that we ended up going to, they had an editor. And I'm not outing anybody. I'm not even mentioning the company this editor was from. But this was probably, I don't know, maybe like a year into the nonsense that was going on online. And, didn't think anything of it at the time. It's like, okay, we went to this thing. I sat there and I was listening, I was watching this editor. And everything that I thought that the online discourse had made to sound like an exaggerated stereotype was right there in front of me in the form of this comic book editor. And I was floored because it's like, really, there came a point where I thought people were making shit up about what was going on.
Yep.
And here I had flesh and blood, this person in front of me being the exact thing that people online were complaining about. Okay, I'm going to out it. It was a she. She looked the part. She definitely talked the part. And she talked about her work in exactly that way. She didn't talk about the quality of the work. She talked about the check boxes that she looked for when she was editing for this company. It was all about, it's like, I remember her saying that she specifically did not look at any male creators. That she was an editor, she's being paid to look for content for her company. And she had this personal checklist that she was just talking about in front of us like it was normal. And I came out of that lecture completely shook, because it's like, if it was there. It was there in the meat space.
Quality didn't matter.
No,
talent didn't matter.
That was not a concern. It's like every stereotype, everything that I thought was a stereotype in the discourse was right there in front of me in the meat space.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, it's like, I still don't know what to think about it to this day.
Well, I kind of came at it from the outside because I was doing that entertainment paper for a decade.
Yeah.
And I intentionally didn't look at much of what was happening in the mainstream because I didn't care for it. I tell everybody all my heroes died at Crisis and Heroes Reborn, and they were replaced by soulless zombies.
Right.
But Varian turned me on to a couple of guys, a couple of, not necessarily guys, but but video channels on YouTube to watch. And I had the same thing. I'm sitting there watching that going, it can't be
real. Right. Yeah, exactly.
This guy is over exaggerating everything about
it's the whole like, oh, you're just creating a straw man to be angry at. And then I go into this lecture. It's like, oh, the straw man is real.
And then you sit and you watch some interviews with these people, then they're up there proud of all of the stuff that these guys are going, you know what they're doing? They're doing this. And they're up there going, yeah, I'm doing this.
Yeah,
okay, you out of your minds?
It was, yeah. So I don't know if that is a company thing or it's just that these people get into particular positions of power and they're able to just do their own thing without the company really caring.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
The corporations do not care what is out in print.
Right.
They don't, as long as that vision or as long as those symbols are still out in front of eyes, and they don't care about the amount of eyes that they're in front of. Obviously, because you can tell by the sales figures how they've jacked down in the last 10 years tremendously. That as long as they've got those IPs out there, the big problem is these people that are working at these corporations think that they're growing the next group of comic readers and the next we're influencing young minds. That's why you're seeing a lot of YA writers coming in and doing comics now is because they think they're influencing young minds when actually all they're doing is chasing away an audience.
Right.
And they can't see that because of the sales figures are dropping.
My head is not working with me today.
And they're just blaming the media, or they're blaming the fact that it's in print. Well, print's dead anyway.
Right. Print's been dead for like the past 30 years.
Yeah. But they're not looking
it's a rough morning.
They're not wrapping their head around the real picture and the problems that are out there, and the fact that they are literally chasing off people that would be and stay in the art. I told somebody else, I can't remember the 3 or 4 podcasts ago, we have the comic industry, especially the large corporations, have chased off 10 times more talent than they fostered.
Yeah,
and all of that talent has ran everywhere else but back to they would love to do comics, but they bang their heads against the wall against these editors that are out looking for their buddies or looking for their isms or their like types, or like you said, if it's a male, I don't even read their stuff. I don't even want to look at it.
Literally said that. And it's like, I can't believe it's even legal for you to say that.
It is, because they're in that position. And they can make that. Technically, it's not, but they're not hiring.
Right.
They're work for hiring. So there's a difference. They can be prejudicial. Along those lines. The problem is all of that great talent that was out there, this talent that grew up reading comics, desperately wanting to do comics, are all out there doing television, doing animation, doing video games, doing storyboards. And there's all of this phenomenal talent out there that would be doing comics if they could do comics. And that's what's so important about doing the alternative and the independent market and the crowdfunding books. Who knows? Maybe Keanu Reeves always wanted to do comics.
Right. Yeah.
And now he's finally got the opportunity to do it. Does a comic, makes $1 million. Now he's got I think a Netflix series, and there's all sorts of other stuff, getting an animation deal and all this other stuff coming out. Yeah. But and the people that are out there that are like that, all you have to do is read interviews with them and realize, well, I grew up reading comics. Stephen King cut his teeth on the old EC comics. You don't think Stephen King would have loved to have done a horror comic if he had been allowed to? His kids doing them now. We talked about this on Sunday.
Oh yeah, that's right. Joe Hill. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There's all this. Comics are a major influence out there that very few people realize exactly how important it is. That and how essential it's been over the years as far as entertaining and fostering imaginations.
Yeah.
This last one, I just got this one from
Comic Black Belts. Comics are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
I got this one from Clear Minded. Clear Minded wrote in. Yeah, but it's actually
we're gonna end on a bang here, aren't we?
No, well, maybe. Clear Minded says, "Hey guys, it says hey guys. It says hi. Hi. Wanted to write in and talk about controversial companies. I was a part of a group that for some reason was very hated. And I found that people had a horrible perception of me because of my involvement with the group.
Right.
And our boss would tell us not to associate with this person or that person, and not to join projects outside the company that were with people that had a problem with the company that I was working for. I think this needs to stop. All of this, I guess it's partisan. All of this, I don't think you spelled it right. All this partisan behavior in comics needs to stop. We are not Marvel. We are not DC. We are indies. We're all fighting for the same market. I see no reason to try to group off and become gangs.
Yeah.
Become what?
Gangs.
Yanks?
Gangs. Gang. Like we're What would we be? What would our gang be?
The thing is, though, is that it's our job now to expand the market and to go out and find these people that Marvel and DC are totally dismissing or pissing off or chasing off, and bring them back to this art form. That's the thing. The amount of people that are currently reading Marvel and DC comics is incredibly small.
Yeah, that's true.
And that market is has been constricted to be incredibly small over the last 30 years. And we ought to be out there just pulling it open and pointing out, hey, comics are awesome. And all of that.
I will say, as far as that grouping is concerned, I mean, that grouping, those people grouping off and going to these little groups, it was done, I think, for survival in a way, but also it does. I had someone reach out to me. I'm not gonna say the name, but they said, "Hey, do you mind if I go on this show before yours? I know we booked, but I know some people who are upset if they don't like that." And I'm like, dude, no, go push your comic.
Yeah,
you were not, like, I don't care who's the show you on. I mean, I've done other shows. Anybody who wants to keep you from associating with other people, I think that sometimes they're trying to save you heartache. They are. They're saying that person is toxic. Don't deal with them. Do not deal with them. And then there are other people who do that, and it's because they don't want you to find out the truth about something, the other side of a story, or they just like that person. They feel that that person can offer you something better, and you won't deal with them anymore. I'm pretty loyal. If someone tells me something in confidence, I keep it that way.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time, all these groups, I just feel like, I mean, how would you? Oh, I'm part of Indie Vote. Hope your little IV gang hand signs. And,
I know, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess I gotta flip it around, right?
And then we sit here to find out that it is an actual gang sign. So
some ass boys.
Yeah. But all the grouping, like these little subgroups. I mean, I've got no problems with anyone, which is why I'm always shocked when someone is like, well, I got problems. I do have problems with some people, but I'm always shocked when it comes back and it's like, what?
And it only takes one toxic person in a group or locale to
always, I mean,
literally soil it for everyone else.
Because it's a business thing too, that it's always the toxic. An organization's toxicity can always be traced down to one person.
Yes.
And all these business articles that I read, they all have the same thing. You have to get rid of that one person. Doesn't matter how hard they work. It's all your problems stem from this one person.
Toxic is toxic. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, my issue in this particular sense, though, it's like, is that we're talking about, like, there's this extreme tribalism going on. Yeah, exactly. And the problem is that it's a lot of randos talking. That's the thing. It's a lot of people I don't know coming out of the woodwork saying, oh, well, this person and that person and over there and over there. And I'm sitting there looking at them going, who are you? Yeah. I don't know you.
Nobody knows who you are.
Why are you talking to me? Like, why all of a sudden you think you're my mom or something? I mean, I don't understand that. And they just want you to take their word for it, for whatever's going on. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that I'm a New Yorker or something, but we're used to working with assholes all the time. So it's like, so it's a thing. It's just a thing that we do. Oh, you're an asshole? Yeah, but can I still work with you?
Yeah, you know, JD.
That's Daphne telling us how she's able to put up with us. Very.
Yeah. It is. It's JD. Explained to me that in New York, "fu" isn't really like a derogatory term.
That's like using the C word over in English.
It's like a comma. It's
like you.
It's like yeah.
The thing is, the thing is, a couple of years ago, it was so easy for those cliques to form regionally.
Yeah.
We were talking about this off camera about the different regional cliques that are just in our local area, from so-and-so's doing this. So everybody's all gathered around this little whirlpool.
Yeah.
But it's different now that we've all been told to stay in our holes, and we're able to stream and get out on the internet and actually exchange ideas with multiple people from multiple areas. And nothing's more fun, in my opinion, than to have one of these Indie Volt podcasts where we've got people from all over the place just talking about their stuff that's happened to them or their opinion.
And then it's like, what's funny, I think it also has to do with, like being on the internet all the time and these weird parasocial relationships that pop up too, where it's like, it's not like, like I feel like, like we've hung out, even, outside of the, like backstage and whatnot. And, but the thing is though, there's like people like people in the Twitter feed. That's why I'm always shitting on Twitter, because I think that's where a lot of it comes from. There's something about Twitter that makes it easy, where it's like people think that just because you answered a tweet of theirs, that all of a sudden you're besties.
Well, not just that. Over on Twitter, I think it's the character restriction that encourages people to remove any type of formality.
Right. So it's like, so they think that the relationship between them and a creator or whoever is more casual than it really is. So because the boundary stepping that I keep seeing on Twitter, I mean, is just like, I don't know, JD sometimes gets really, really weird DMs from people, and we're like going, who are you? It's like, what the fuck are you doing in my house? It's like that. It's like, why are you here telling me, what to do or not to do, or who to associate with? Oh, do you know this person is this? Do you know that person is that? It's like, look out, bitch, I don't even know who you are. It's like,
think for me, Daddy Belt, says Jake.
For me, Daddy Belt.
So funny. It's this really weird thing where it's like people think that unless it's like you're morally pure, which nobody is, by the way, that it's like that's the only way you can associate with people. And it's like, and there's this line that I keep thinking of it. It came from I don't know, I forgot what show it was, but they said sometimes you have to do business with people you would never share a meal with.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I look at it. It's like, it's like, look, Donald Trump could call me up tomorrow and say, hey, I want you to draw some illustrations for me for whatever CPAC shit. And I'd be like, the only thing that would make me question the whole thing is not the fact that it's Donald Trump, but that he has a reputation for not paying his vendors.
That'd be like half up front.
Yeah. Right. Put your concern
but
where
happy to do it
actually needs to be.
Yeah, the call will be more like this. Daphne, I talked to a lot of people. A lot of them. They're telling me that you're one of the best artists. I only work with the best, Daphne.
Your artwork is tremendous.
It's tremendous artwork. It's tremendous, really bigly. And I want to make sure that we get you where you need to be. You're fired, Daphne.
Right. I didn't even get half up front yet. I'm fired already.
Half up front, you're fired. Tremendous fire. She's not a very good person. I wish her the best.
Right, there you go.
In charge of canonization into this gang.
Entire career in 5 minutes.
For me, Daddy Belt.
She's not a nice person. She's not good people. I was like, wow, the smear gang.
You have to get jumped into Indie Volt.
Yeah,
you go in like a back room, and Indie Princess punches you in the ear.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's the ear though.
10-inch stiletto.
Yeah.
And then she needs to pay extra for that.
There are people that would pay to see it.
Yeah.
12 psychos on Twitter. That's all it took.
That's all it took.
So
it's like JD keeps talking about the same 5 guys on the internet. Twitter's the same way. I cleaned up my entire timeline just by getting rid of 20 people.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, that sometimes that's all it takes. It's like, it sounds like there's a lot of noise, but it's only 3 monkeys. You know, it's like, really.
People have always had something to say. In today's world, you can get to everyone's ears. That's the only difference.
Exactly.
So I avoid Twitter like any disease.
Exactly.
Joe, I'm pretty close to that.
I didn't need it. I wish I didn't need it.
Daphne, draw me something from China.
Very Trump impression is chef's kiss. Jake says instead of a litmus test, you'll have to measure if you run 230V by sticking one pin up the urethra and the other in your mouth.
Well, and that's definitely extra.
That's extra. You guys, I wanted to ask you too. You've run the campaigns. Yeah. What can you do I got the message on Facebook from a friend who didn't feel like writing in, but wanted to know what could you do to reinvigorate a campaign when it's in its lull?
Ooh, yeah.
I'm there now. Please tell me.
No, that's a rough one, because you see the thing is that every campaign is always going to have a plateau. There's always going to be in a 30-day campaign, there's usually about 15 days where absolutely nothing happens and you're sweating the entire time.
Holy crap. Does that mean I've got 30 days? I've got a 60-day campaign.
Pretty much. Yeah. That unfortunately, that's how the math works out. Right? So that's why the trend is to do shorter campaigns. Like once you've pretty much established yourself, you start making your campaigns shorter and shorter to kind of try to eliminate the plateau.
I can't cut this puppy down now. It's too late.
Right? Yeah, you're already knee deep. So
on my own.
But the only thing that you could do is just keep hammering. It's like every day is promotional day. Like yesterday I did a 2.5-hour stream where I spoke mostly about the indie book. So it's like it's every day hammering, posting, doing whatever it takes to just buying your Facebook ads. Although honestly, I quickly only in the last week. If I think that if you do a Facebook ad on the very last week of the campaign, I think it's helpful because people sign up for a campaign. Usually you get a bulk at the beginning and a bulk at the very end. So what a Facebook ad does at the very last week of a campaign is that it reminds everybody that they have to back your campaign.
I've not taken out a Facebook ad that hasn't screwed my algos right after the Facebook ad is done.
Do you guys think that sometimes, and Daphne, let me know how you feel about this because you've done it, when campaigns that you're on start to cross over, so you're on one campaign, for instance, you're in the Indie Revolt book,
right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I have Tall Tales coming up next.
Yeah. So it's kind of at the same. So it's like, wait a minute.
Then it crosses over with Lola's.
Yeah. But but if imagine if you would have, and you got work in one of Lola's books. Yeah. So it's like Daphne Lage. Didn't I already? It's great because your name is everywhere. But at the same time, it's like, do you think people get tired of I'm not bad because they don't see it as that person. They don't look at the name of the company. They kind of look at this person as again.
Right. I mean, it's tough because you know what it is? It's like, what? Marvel doesn't have this problem. DC doesn't have this problem. Big company. Look, Keanu Reeves did not have this problem. So for some reason, we're supposed to feel ashamed of promoting ourselves, and that's something, honestly, as individual creators, we kind of have to get over ourselves. Because it's like we're all we got. It's like I remember someone saying, whatever promotion that you're doing, it's not enough. So it's not that people because you got to consider the internet is vast. The way Facebook throttles, your thing. I mean, that even Pops had mentioned this in one of his posts, where it's like that he was a little concerned that people might be, thinking, oh, we're seeing the same campaigns over and over again. But the thing is that there's a lot of people who aren't seeing those campaigns.
Yes.
There's a lot of people on Facebook, a lot of people online who've never even seen your stuff before. I mean, it's the old joke. You're promoting your campaign for 30 days, for 60 days, and the day after it ends, you're going to get one person who's going to say, "Oh, I had no idea you were running a Kickstarter. I had no idea you were running."
Only one. Yeah, really. You're gonna get a few people.
You know what?
This also feeds into the misnomer, the bad, wrong idea that we're all buying. The only reason the campaigns are so successful is because we're all just buying each other's books and trading the same amount of money, going back and forth.
That we're trading the same $20 between us.
Some of that does happen, yes, but not to the extent that everybody thinks. That wallet, that the amount of money out there is only as available as the amount of people and eyes that you get to that campaign.
Yeah.
So, and that doesn't mean that we're trading the same amount of money. That just means that there needs to be more eyes out there looking at these campaigns. Everybody should be making a living at this who has a quality product. That's what they call fair market or basic capitalism. If you want to use that, capitalism's getting such a bad term out there in so many circles. But that's the way the free market works. And it needs to work like that again. We need to get back to that because it has been an ever slowly circling drain ever since Diamond became that funnel out there and right straight to the retailers. That system doesn't work and won't work until Diamond decides to change it or the retailers decide to change it themselves, which I'm hoping is happening.
Right.
But we need to go out there and stretch that market out in order for everybody to make a little money.
Right.
And there's so much more money out there to be made.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it's like, but also it's like, like for me, being on 3 different projects, launching in 3, in such a short span, the Indie Vault, my book, Lore, and whatever, whatever other books Lola's putting out. Because the books that I'm in are actually going to be add-ons for Lore. So it's all part of that campaign.
Right.
Now, the thing is, though, the same person is not going to buy all 3 books. It's very rare. So it's like one person's going to buy Randy's, book. Another different person is going to buy my book. Another person is going to buy Lola's book, but we're all going to have these audiences that kind of mesh together. And it's going to we're all going to find the books that we want. So it's like, yes, I'm going to be posting up like crazy. I'm in this book. I'm in this book. I'm in this book. I'm in this book. But the idea is that it gets enough out there that the right people see it. Not necessarily that the same person is seeing it over and over again. But it gets spread out. So we really got to get over ourselves when it comes to promotion.
it would help. And I'm sorry, we got up to we're up to 78,411 people listening, and questions keep coming back in. But the next question here is from Dally. Dally says, so are you saying remove yourself from cliques and art groups? I think those will be beneficial. They can be beneficial. They can be. No, it's just it's look, if someone in your group has a problem, why not try to be the olive branch if you can? These guys don't like us. I don't know why they don't like us. Maybe you can find out. Maybe there's been a miscommunication. Maybe there's been, something, or you'll find out that they're just a bunch of assholes.
Right, exactly.
and again, this is a sad example of pigeonholing.
Yeah.
And you should try to avoid pigeonholing at all costs. You get all of these people out there desperately trying to define the word community. And it's like, no, that's not. Communities have Gladys Kravitz across the street carrying through out her shades and wanting to report to the cops anything that she finds remotely suspicious. Or they have an HOA that want to see how tall your bushes are. And you have to hit a certain conformity. No, we're the folks that are together that talk to each other a lot in these podcasts and that are family. I don't see this as a community. I see it more as a family. And a family sits there and helps each other and promotes each other. And if they don't, or if somebody's out there doing something they don't like, unless it's directly directed at them, they keep their effing mouth shut.
Right,
And they promote good comics. That's the thing about this art form that everybody needs to do. Everybody needs to shut up and promote good comics that you love. And you need to expand this family. You need to go out there and tell your home family that you read comics. You need to buy comics as Christmas gifts. You need to find every opportunity to get sequential art out there in front of other people's noses so that they can get into this business too and find stuff that they like and stuff that they're entertained with. Right. That's what you really need to do. And there's a lot of idiots out there and toxicity and all of this. Those are the people that you avoid. You don't talk to them. If somebody is out there and that's bitter and nasty and negative, don't deal with them.
Right.
Don't be around them, just to totally ignore them. Go out there and find the people that want to have fun, that want to entertain, that want to work, that want to laugh, and be around them just like anybody else. It's the same thing with dealing with that cousin you can't stand.
Right, exactly.
Just don't deal with them. They're part of the family, more or less. They're in the same bloodline as you, but you don't have to deal with them.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Preston Acevedo is in here. He says, "What's up, V?
Preston?"
I want to bring out the fact that Nita said that newcomers need to be extra cautious of toxic creators, and because they will try to rope them in quick.
That was my experience.
That is so true.
That is so true, especially if you're young and impressionable and stubborn, and a little bit of a mean streak. You can get roped in really quickly.
You got to be careful about these people that want to have people follow them. There's a lot of Jim Joneses out there begging you to drink their Kool-Aid, and you have to be careful. Yes. Yeah. But again, if you're around positive people and you know who's fake and who's not, if you're around them enough.
I mean, unfortunately, that is something sometimes you have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
I mean,
she goes on to say the attention of those that have been somewhat successful can blind you. You take what they say as advice and isolate yourself from where you need to need to be to grow, which is everywhere, not stuck in one corner talking to the same small circle. Exactly. Amen. And you'll notice that sometimes those circles are incredibly small, and it's because everyone else doesn't deal with that person.
Right. Yeah.
Preston, the comment talk. Trico says, ears perk up. Did someone say capitalism? And Pop says sometimes you gotta disown some of the family.
Oh, that's for real. It's like a really sometimes comics can be like a really shitty Thanksgiving.
It's that uncle that likes to flash the kids at the reunion. You just don't have that uncle around.
Yeah, exactly. You don't make excuses for that uncle. You don't invite that uncle to the cookout anymore.
You just tell everybody that's Bob. He's a weirdo. We don't have Bob around that often. Yeah. Sorry, Bob.
Yeah. Preston says my community are indie creators that don't try to recruit me through their books. I read comics and create comics to escape reality. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like I'm always wary of people who is like who define their work through too many labels. Mm-hmm. That they're more concerned about, is it this, is it that? It's like, especially when the labels don't mean anything. And it's like, how do you define something with no meaning? Like I was on another podcast and I was commenting about how a friend of ours was at a convention and someone came up to them and demanded to know whether his comics were sex positive. And I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? What are they asking?
Your comic sex
positive. It's like,
is there sex in it? Are people smiling? I'd say that's sex positive.
Yeah. It's like we didn't know. It's like this person was standing there expecting us to know the definition of what they wanted, and we're standing there like, is that even in English? You just mashed two words together.
Listen, I'll be honest with you because I hear the words. When I hear the word sex and positive, I'm like, whoa, what happened? Who got what?
Right, what does that even mean? It's like, are we randomly are we playing Scrabble?
Do you know what I mean?
It sounds like the Bill Hicks routine where he talks about positive drug stories and how you never hear him in the news.
Right.
Because all of his experiences on drugs have been, pretty
right. Yeah,
positive.
I think that's the one where he goes like, "Oh, you have if you're against drugs, you throw out all your Beatles records right now."
Yeah.
Let's see here. Press. So
you had something slide by your monitor there really quick. Was that something we weren't supposed to see?
Did I?
Yeah, on the one there that we see in the camera, it just kind of floated.
Oh, did it? It might have been. Oh no! I was bringing stuff. Okay, I got a monitor in front of me. I got the two monitors here.
That's your red tube. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what happened was what happened was I dragged
research.
What happened was I dragged the.
We got to talk about sex positive, and suddenly things are sliding by.
Yeah, no, I drug the Indie Volt.
Oh yeah, I see it now.
From this monitor to this one to this one, I popped it in here so that I could take a look at the campaign.
In other words, you're just showing off now. Yeah.
No, yeah. I can. I gotta check out everything. I gotta listen. I'm telling you, I need 2 more monitors. The wife has signed off on it. She's agreed.
No.
She's agreed.
No.
It's gonna be like that scene in what Batman, Batman, where he has like all the cell phones in the world, in Gotham City, whatever the F he's doing there.
Yeah. Listen, no, because look, I'm be honest with you.
Some men aren't looking for anything logical like money. They can't be bought, bullied.
He's looking at all the different, checking everything out.
That's Randy talking to me. Actually, that's actually a scene of
that
Randy
is
saying, like, you can't do this.
That's why we clipped that.
Yeah, it's me watching. I need all these monitors because I keep my eyes on this community. You guys are freaking out, flipping. I can't. I need monitors on everybody's Facebook page.
Well, that's what it takes to run a media empire, sir.
Yeah. What did he say?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
You see, and that's just to add really quick, it's like, and how you deal with these communities. I mean, that's all up to you and what you feel comfortable. Randy's the type that likes to educate. I'm the one that likes to tell you to fuck off and leave me alone. Your problem is not my problem.
You jumped on a soapbox for a little bit.
It's like, yeah, exactly.
That's your education, son. Now F off.
Jake says, sorry, Randy, mom, and Daphne, dad. I got another F in school today.
Well, which F?
Yeah.
An F in what?
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but like, did you ever take it personally when your kid got like a or like when they got a bag, they get bad grades in school? You're like, what? But like, especially in art.
Well,
what?
That was the only one that nobody was impressed by, so I had to sweat over everything else.
Sad to say, I don't think there was art in the school that when my daughter was going through. So at least I don't remember those grades. I do remember some bad grades, but I didn't take it personally.
Yeah, no, I took it very personally. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Pops says, don't ever tell someone you're going to back their book if you don't plan to. They will hold that against you too. Yeah, sometimes you plan on backing it. Like with me,
you're running in 5 directions at once. You can tell somebody you're going to back your book unless you write it down, which I keep notepads, spiral pads handy just to remind me.
Also, I think
you'll forget.
Yeah. I mean, also, I think it's stupid for people to even it's like if I don't sit there looking at my backer report going, oh, Randy didn't buy my book. Varian didn't buy my book.
I'm glad
Bastards.
you have it.
It's like, I don't do that. That's such a waste of time. It's like, look, if people don't back, it's for their own reason. Just like I don't back everybody either.
It could be money. Money was tight.
Right. It's like that's worry about the people who are backing you. Don't worry about the people who aren't.
And again, you really don't. You should back the stuff you're really going to be entertained by, because granted, some stuff you're going to buy because you're buddies or whatever, but you don't really want that money to be constantly circulating. There needs to be people from the outside coming in here and making these campaigns successful.
Exactly. I got a buddy, I won't say his name, but we all know him. He says anybody launching on Kickstarter, he won't buy your book there. However, what he will do is he'll reach out to you personally and say, can I PayPal you the money?
Oh, yeah, that's fine too.
Can I PayPal it to you? Because I want the book, but I cannot PayPal to you. But I will not sell. I will not buy it through
and anymore, it's just a lousy 7%. I mean,
Right.
I've backed a lot of Kickstarter campaigns, even though I don't personally care for Kickstarter the way they do business.
Jake says, I wonder how Thanksgiving dinner will be with this chat and panel.
It'll end up, like someone getting choked out like Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
If things keep up, we all might be having Thanksgiving dinner here online, and everybody streaming.
Drawn Talk says, best thing honestly is to just do your thing, be in the community, have friends, have a small circle of people you actually trust, and just do your own thing.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
So true, Tyler.
It's like, you know what? The people who create community, they're not harping about creating community. They're just there.
Yeah.
It's like, just like I don't have to sit here and it's like demand. Oh, it's like, we need to be friends. We just are. It's like,
folks, quite honestly, hating ain't creating.
Yeah, exactly. You're wasting time.
You're wasting energy and time talking, trying to tear other crap down when really you should be out there, get a sparkle in your eye and go out there and talk positively about this industry.
It's like, look, standing on someone's back does not make you taller.
Well, I mean, I'm short anyway, so
even having a small circle you trust. There is always someone who wants to ruin it. My best friend from before comics is now no longer my friend because of toxic comic assholes.
Jake says, I assume it means sexual.
I have no idea. Like I said, it's just it just seemed like two random words they mashed together and said it like it was supposed to mean something. So I don't know.
I was going to say most of my sex has been pretty positive. I don't know about you, but
that's what Daphne off again, says Simon.
It's, look,
hello,
I'm a Spaniard. I'm always angry. That's my secret cap.
So Sim in the house. President, I failed in art school. Yeah, I mean, I think we all kind of had
well, when I was growing up, art school meant anything but comics. Oh, you draw them funny pictures?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to draw those. Draw something else. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here.
And it was absent from my list.
Yeah, from his list, he knows who didn't buy his book. He knows. Yeah. I asked to PayPal instead. I don't want to give away my credit card info.
That's very okay to do. Always. I mean, it's like, there's certain platforms. If you feel ooky about it, you can always contact the creators separately. And
Kickstarter is ooky.
Yeah, Kickstarter's ooky.
Every time,
that's the way it is.
Professor Trico says, every time my daughter gets a bad grade in history, I'm like, do you know what I do for a living?
You're bringing shame to the family.
What is this? I'm saying, when my son brought back art stuff, I'm like, what? But his art teacher, and I don't get along anyway. So.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because you draw them funny pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, he wears
that's
vests.
A whole other beef.
He wears
beef. What's for dinner?
He wears vests and Dobbs and fedoras, and I'm like, the only person to pull off a fedora, in my opinion, is Anthony. The only person to pull off a fedora. But when I see an art teacher, I'm like, that guy thinks he's too cool for school. I don't like him. Joe says, this is why crowdfunding is bad. There's no true way to entice new people from your cold audience. This is why you got people doing exactly what you stated.
That's bad thinking, Joe, because where there's a will, there's a way. You need to go out and find a way to entice new people.
Yeah.
Don't just throw that wall up and say it doesn't happen because nobody else has figured out how to do it yet. Figure out how to do it so that we all can do it.
We're all still trying to figure that out, That's the thing. Thank you. I got an amended hashtag.
Preston says, I'm sorry. Preston says, the way Kickstarter set up is kind of shady. I like to know how much my shipping is going to be at the moment of purchase, not 3 months later.
Yeah. Really? I mean, because I didn't notice that, because it's like, it tells me to put in shipping. I put in shipping and I just assume that's what everybody knows is going to be.
The first couple of times when I crowdfunded, when I got to the shipping part, was on Indiegogo, I freaked. What do you mean $10? What the,
right.
$10. And then you go in and you figure out, well, postage ain't the same as it used to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Packing stuff together ain't the same as it used to be.
Right. No, but I guess they're saying that shipping, like, you see the price, but you don't see shipping until you pledge.
And then it comes out.
Well, there are some.
Guess what? In order to ship it to you, I need 15 more bucks.
Yeah,
well, you know what? Yeah. Not for nothing. I have backed out of Kickstarters because of that. You know, I go to back something, and all of a sudden shipping's $15. I'm like going, oh no, that's too much. That raises it. Yeah, no,
it's just so much better on your way out the door. You go, because that's what Amazon does. That's what when I deal with wholesale distributors, that's what they do. All at the bottom, boom. Here's another whatever for shipping, where you can freak or not freak or cancel your order before you place it or whatever. But a lot of these on Kickstarter, I've heard so many complaints from people that they've ordered books and then 2-3 months later, like Preston says, they get another contact. Hey, guess what? We need more money before you get your book.
Yeah, that's also kind of weird too. Yeah,
I think I think I don't want to say the name of a company, but I think that people were having an issue with a lot of those add-on services afterwards, like CrowdOx and stuff. They were having some issues. Glenn says, when I was 15 and thinking about a career, the career officer told me nobody draws comics, and there I was, almost 600 of them under my bed.
Yeah, they don't know.
I could have been a brain surgeon.
Yeah.
Told me not to bother. He's dead now.
There you go. Outlive your enemies. That's what do it the Trina Robin ways. Outlive your enemies.
Look, I'm telling you the way it's going. I'll be honest with you guys. It's gonna turn dark real quick. Hold on.
Go dark.
I had a X-Men watch. My father had bought me. It was one of these little offhanded. I was spoiled as a kid, and I seen it in line at Toys R Us. Can I have that watch, Dad? And he's like, this thing is $8. Yeah, here, So it had the X-Men logo on it and everything. You could push the button and it makes a little sound. Well, my dad bought that for me.
Push the button, it goes na 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 na.
Exactly.
It made a little Morse code beep, and it was supposed to be so you could play Morse code with your friends or something. But my dad bought that for me, and we did a lot of stuff. But then the next month he passed away.
Oh,
and so for me, that watch was like,
everything.
It wasn't the last thing he bought me, but for some reason it was like the last time we had been in Toys R Us together. So I remembered it. So I wore it to school, and occasionally as I did something, I would hit this cumbersomely placed button.
Right, yeah.
And so the teacher took it from me. Well, I was like, can I have it back at the end of the day? Yeah. Then he changed his mind. He says, no, have your mother come here and get it. Now my mother was working at General Motors at the time. She's retired for now, but so her shift would start at like 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. She wouldn't get home sometimes. She worked long amounts of overtime. She wouldn't get home sometimes like 4 in the morning. Well, anyway, she said, I can't come up there, but I will keep the watch at home from now on. You'll keep the watch at home.
That is so unnecessary.
Well, this SOB refused to return it until my mother came up there. So unfortunately for him, it was a private school, so they had private transportation. He was the bus driver as well. So when she came to get me that next day, my mother's had to come outside and say, you're going to return the watch. I know it's only an $8 watch. You're gonna return it, or I can have the police come there and pick it up with you, because at this point it's theft. I'm telling you to return my property. You're not doing it. Well, my mother's talking to this man, and his cousin is in the car, and he looks at me, and he's calling my mother a bitch under his breath. And I told him, I said, hey, Kenny, don't talk to my mother that way. Well, this kid, Kenny, who's older than me, turns around and starts choking me really choking me. I hated him for the rest of my life. I always I told my wife, I said, if I ever take off running and say, there's Kenny, just get the bail money together. Well, I thought about it. I said, you know what? I got the money for bail now. Let me look up Kenny. The motherfucker's dead.
Well, there you go. So you're way ahead of him right now. Fuck you, Kenny.
Yeah, what they call karma, my friend.
Yeah. And the problem was, I was like, what am I gonna do with this anger I've been hanging on to since 8th grade? What am I gonna do?
Channel it into your art.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you guys see somebody named Kenny in my comic getting killed like over and over and over again. Like, oh, the guy's named Kenny. He's gonna die.
Outlive your enemies.
Where do you think the character from South Park came from? I'll bet.
I mean,
Matt or Trey knows somebody named Kenny, and Kenny constantly dies.
But in the end, it's like that's what makes all this beef so unnecessary, because it's like, really live well, do your work. It's like, be better. It's like, because
don't say that too loud.
Oh yeah, that's true, right? Oh yeah, that's true. It's like, just, what? Live your life. Nothing is more infuriating to someone who hates you is just living your life.
Yep.
Like they
living
don't
well
exist.
is the best
Yeah,
revenge. Yes.
it really is. It really is.
Jake said, "Let's hope Varian's boy isn't like a father like son and struggle growing feathers."
It's like, that Klingon life is all, dramatic and stuff. But in the end, just being yourself and doing your thing and being happy with what you're doing is the best revenge.
Look, listen. And let me tell you something. I learned something. If your enemy is a person of color, keep this in mind. Just give it time. Let the pork chops and high blood pressure take their time. That's what took Kenny out. And let the blood pressure, let the no bank loans, let that let the stress get to him. It'll kill us all eventually. I will say this though. I was really mad when I found out he had passed away, because
how dare you?
Oh, brother.
Not only did I lose the ability to whoop his ass, I lost the ability to forgive him.
That's why you need a straw hat and cane, my friend.
I mean, I know that sounds kind of weird, but I lost the ability to make amends and to forgive him and talk to him about what he did and let him know, hey, dude, you got kids now. How would you like if someone did to your kid? Because I mean, he was several years older than me. Like, he was like,
I mean, you know what's funny? I think that I mean, I get it, but I think it's kind of overrated too, because it's like you're imagining a conversation that most of the time these people like don't even care. They're like, it's kind of like coming up, like trying to talk to the school bully. Like when you're at a convention and the guy who bullied you comes up to say, hey, and it's like, we're all good, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck you, I remember.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes you just you just gotta let it go rather than and it's like, what? It's like not even forgive and forget, just like whatever.
And especially in this industry,
forget and move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't let them have that energy. Just channel it in other places and move along.
What ends up happening, like with comics, is that person will end up going away.
Yeah,
you won't see him at cons anymore. You'll be like, oh, what happened to this? Oh, they're not doing comics anymore. Splendid.
It's like that's it's like but here you are still doing it. So it's like
that's where we sit around. That's where we sit around years from now and go, hey, you remember so and so? We go,
no.
Yeah, I remember so and so. Whatever happened to him? Who the fuck cares?
Right. Yeah. It's like, it's like, look, it's like I say sometimes, like, so how you doing? I'm doing better than Steve Jobs. That's for sure. It's like, look, it doesn't matter. Any day above ground is a good day. Don't waste it. I was just going
to say that. Because I got my page in portfolio, it's going to, I
guess
I can switch it. I guess I can switch it.
I got it.
All right, I'll let you bring it up.
I got it. Whoop, not that. This.
We lost it. Daphne don't give no shits. Kill them all and let God sort it out.
Yeah, I'm. That's how I've reached that age.
Like, really. At least they're not around anymore.
I'm at that age where it's like it's not my problem.
Yep.
If I'm not responsible for the imaginary version of me you have in your head. So it's like, what? That's on you.
Not my circus, not my clowns.
Yeah, exactly. I'm too old for that.
We're still at 38 backers, folks, for Indie Revolt Sequential Art Collection.
50. This is looking for a new home. Come on.
Another 50. 12. Another 12 50. Also adds another 10 pages to the book.
Now, Daphne, is that gonna be made a print, or is that gonna be made like a card or something?
Maybe if you want.
You never know.
Maybe someone will get the original, and maybe we'll have a print or something for everyone else to get. We don't know. We don't know. Maybe we'll mix it up a bit.
Feeling a little mischievous tier is only 35. That's the Revolt book with Daphne's cover and Russ's cover on the other side.
Yeah.
And 3 issues of Tales from the Anniversary, which would make my wife happy getting it out of the basement.
Exactly. Clean out that basement.
Yeah. I've got cases, folks. They've all been sitting there in mint condition, waiting to go. Either of the cover sets, both of the cover sets, we have PDFs now for anybody that just wants to read it over their computer screen or their telephone, whatever they want to do. There's cover set 1, cover set 2, and both cover sets. The interior of the book is exactly the same on both cover sets, just so you know. Plus a retailer tour if you're a tier. I keep saying tour instead of tier.
We all need 3 different types of glasses in front of our computer.
Yeah. There's a retailer tier where you can get 3 of each type, each cover set for only $75. So take a look, folks. It's a great collection of comic stories done by a lot of the contributors, or at least listeners to the Indie Vault podcast.
$1,565. You guys get over there, look up Revolt. I had to type in Revolt on Indiegogo.
It'll take you right there.
Yeah, I tried to type in Indie Vault and I couldn't find it. I'm like, well, if you type in Revolt, you'll definitely pull it up. Indie Vault Revolt sequential art collection over there. It's got a lot of great people and a lot of great artists. I am at 200. Was it 200 backers?
150.
150 backers.
Yep.
I'm coming to the book. So yeah.
Gotta work for it. Come on, folks. And get it in now. The faster we get to 150 backers, the quicker Variant's going to be able to get its story done, and the faster we'll get it to the printer and get it out to you. So,
come on, we want to get that essentials size. We want to get to that essential size book.
The telephone beating book.
Not afraid to go bigger. And it's $20. Come on. It's only $20. And it's already 120 plus. It's like 122 pages of comics already. So
very cool. Miss Lage, where can you be found online?
I can be found at egoworks.com, my main portfolio site, EGOWORKS, where you can read the first 5 issues of Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, for free, and you can check out all my social media links if you want to see me act up on Facebook and Twitter, especially. You can also, there's also a link there to Tall Tales Online, TAILS, where you can read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free, or even easier, you can sign up at the Kickstarter launch page, where the first volume of Tall Tales, Thieves Quest Volume 1, collecting the first 5 issues from 1 to 5 from the very beginning. Hop on that train now. This is it. We're going to premiere the Kickstarter this coming Monday, March 29th. So everyone will finally know what I'm talking about when you see this behind me. And also, if you're feeling a little frisky, I also have a link to the infamous House of Bob gallery on Fur Affinity. So I got something for everything at egoworks.com.
Very good, very good. Mr. Zim.
Bob says Comic Talk says 162 backers away. Woohoo!
It's not a lot of people. Come on.
At 200 backers, we have a story that Pops is going to be in charge of. So that involves his Crom Troll. And speaking of Crom, I'll be back on Crom Con on Saturday at 8:30. I believe I'm following Mr. Luke Stone, who might have an important announcement to make as to the future of his hybrids book. So we'll see what happens.
I'll also be on CromCon, I think, on Saturday. I got to double check my time, but I will be following Russ Leach like the little stalker that I am.
Are we leeching off of Leach now? Is that what?
Yeah, I think.
I am.
And hey, I'm Randy Zimmerman. You can find me on Facebook under Randy Zimmerman. You can also find an Arrow Comics 4.0 page. Also on Facebook. Run over there to take a look at some of the products that we've got coming up. I will be posting new artwork, if not today, then later this week for sure. By the weekend, there'll be more artwork up, Revolt artwork, as well as other things that we're working on. A lot of fun stuff. We also have an Arrow Comics 4.0 channel on YouTube where our videos go up at talking about our products. And I'm swear there'll be other new content up there soon. So other than that, we're part of the Indie Vault podcast network from Indie Vault Media, right? IndieVolt
Media LLC. Yep.
LLC. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be back next Sunday. Daphne should be there too. Sunday morning at 9 a.m. for the Sunday Funnies program, where we try to talk about the more lighthearted and whimsical side of comics, the more positive side of comics.
I try to keep the hashtags at a minimum.
Yeah. It all depends on who we have on as to where the conversation goes, and sometimes it gets pretty crazy over there. Then we'll be back. Varian and I will be back again on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. for the Livewire broadcast. And then again, we'll be back here Thursday morning for another episode of the Breakfast Buzz next Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Times. All of those times are Eastern Standard Times, so please adjust your clocks accordingly.
Yeah. And of course, I'm Kid _V, KYD_V on Twitter. Varian Grant everywhere else. WhenWeWrite.com. Check out my publishing company, Last Call Comics. LastCallComics.com is where you can find that. Looking to get your independent comic in comic book stores and retailers? You can do that. Check out Liberty Entertainment Distribution Group, ledg.us is the website for that. Check it out. Give us a call, and we'll see what we can do to help you. Remember that. Okay.
And again, that's something we don't talk about enough. The fact that your distribution company is really starting to pick up, and the next few months you'll be adding a lot more retailers, and they should really jump over there and take a look and sign on.
Yeah, people. I tell people this all the time. You should be concerned when I'm quiet. When I'm quiet, it's because something big has happened, and I'm working my butt off to make sure that things are going to go smoothly. So, IndieVolt Radio. Thank you guys for listening. I just lost my numbers, but they're still tabulating. IndieVolt, thank you guys. IndieVolt Radio, you can download. Google Play is where you can go. If you have an Android device, download IndieVolt Radio. It is free. Also, you can download. If you download the Streamer app on iOS, iPhones, you can listen in IndieVolt Radio. There's a couple of different avenues too through iOS that you can use to listen to IndieVolt Radio. You can also ask your Amazon Alexa app to play IndieVolt Radio, as well as check out the IndieVolt.com website. There's a player there where you can tune in and listen live. You can even request songs on that player.
And remember, we love everybody listening to IndieVolt Radio. And at any time that we get 100,000 people listening, Varian has to pay for more streaming.
Yep, and that is
it's as soon as we reach that point, you can probably expect a potathon.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So more content, more people, more content.
Yeah, I gotta update Liberty today, as a matter of fact. So I'll be updating some Liberty stuff today. I got some new books in, so they have to go up on the site. And,
I will talk more off camera.
Yeah,
I've got some stuff I need to tell you.
Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. Make sure if you have a question for us, you can send that question in to IndieVolt Live at IndieVolt.com. Please include IndieVolt Live in the subject and keep those emails to 90 words or less so I can put them on a little card and read them. Thank you for joining us.
No statement or subject matter too difficult. We are TVMA DLSV, and we are here to help and to educate.
We'll take on the challenge.
And and to help rant.
Also, IndieVolt TV on Roku enabled devices. IndieVolt TV completely free. It's our streaming network. Got some independent movies up there you can watch, some wrestling, some music videos, and some long form content, much like this video here. When YouTube says you can't say that on our network, we take it down and put it on our Roku, just because they can't control us there.
We need to do more content for that.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. And those questions can be sent in as long as sometimes they piss people off though.
Wow. It's okay. That's what ranting is.
The chance we take.
Yeah. Good night, everyone. Randy, you want to take us out?
On our way out the door, we want to remind everybody of the words of the great Jack Kirby, who said, "Kid, comics will break your heart."
Yeah.
We want to wish everybody well.
Any other way?
We wouldn't have it any other way. Nope.
Yeah.
We wish you well. Take care, everybody, and we will talk soon. Stay healthy. We'll see you soon.
Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.
How dare you?
How can you close me up? On what ground?
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
You're winning, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.